I remember jumping in your chat last week,
Yeah.
and you're like, should I divine this? I was like, no, please
You said
don't.
no, and then the second you said no, I was like, all right, we're doing it.
All right, yeah, send like 8 on it or
I've kept
something.
a couple. Well, I was because I hopped to standard and I was throwing like 50 divines on Shakos between while I was eating or something, and I was like, all right, you know what? I got the divine bug now. They're burning a hole in my pocket. What can I
Hmm.
say? Um, so I had some talking points written down, which I'm sure we'll get to all those at some point while we're talking around. But one thing I had, I guess for starters, is just what's everyone's. I don't want to say what's everyone's first impression league, 'cause it's kind of I feel like it's kind of a pointless question. Everyone kind of feels like they love the league. So like, how's we've all had our starter builds and like gone through that experience. How was everyone's starter? What did you play? How to go? Yada yada yada. I guess we'll start with easy because your name is first in the list.
Sweet. So started tornado shot just right out of the gate. It went really good. I just tried to get to as 100 as quick as I could. So basically just did like, well, I guess not as quick as I possibly could, but I got like my 4 watchstones, and then yeah, went to 100, and then just ping ponged tropical island and cemetery, I think. So I could farm a bunch of omni bosses, and yeah, everything just kind of like fell into place after that. I was able to get my omni from the batch of like 40 exarchs that I found, and then just started blasting, just trying to like knock challenges out. It's been a really, really, really good league start. Super, like everything, just the juicing. Yeah, I mean everything's been really, really good, and it's all just been a real nice tandem.
Nice. I have a. Gonna pull up in a second here. I think this is correct. I have your Atlas tree that you sent me. The one
Oh, that
the shadow
yeah.
shaping one, right?
Uh-huh.
Could you talk a little bit because we say things like I did my Atlas, I got 100, and that's more than most people ever do. Just I know you're throwing it out there like it's
Oh yeah. Oh,
so
sorry.
it's
Yeah.
fine. I'm just saying like most people do not get close to 100 who play Path. So and a lot of it has to do in a way with your Atlas tree setup, as far as this is like the fuel on the fire to get you to 100. Obviously, you have to play the game, and your build has to not be shit. But do you want to talk a little bit about your shadow shaping wandering
Yeah,
path
yeah.
tree?
Yeah, absolutely. So, just to kind of initially start off, I think I actually took a few pages out of Legi's book, and I mean, again, these are all, I think, somewhat known strategies, but was definitely rushing more towards Kirak, so you get enough Kirak missions to be able to try to get like a full Atlas completion as quick as it could. And then again, once I was finally able to get like basically a full Atlas and all 4 Watchstones, I started taking all the Kirak nodes, and then just started like a wandering path Atlas tree so that I could basically infinitely sustain tropical islands and cemetery maps. So with that, with taking that node, and then you take at least 100% connected maps, then you're always going to get one of the other maps to drop. So instead of alking and going to play it safe, I was scouring and going, pending I had enough scours and stuff, right? Or just rolling them blue.
Yeah,
But yeah, that way you didn't have to think too much about gear, because again, it's just kind of trash gear. And then while doing that, I knew that eventually once 100 there'd be other stuff that I'd want to do, right? So I always like to maybe roll like the first batch of deli orbs to try to get some scarab orbs. So I take that scarab chance. It adds mob density. It doesn't really hurt anything. So that little deli orb chance thing up there,
yeah,
as well as invitation stuff. So again, it seems like invitations are always kind of scarce. So just go ahead and have a big bulk, because you're going to get so many boss maps from the beginning. Then the other thing I took was blueprints and some heist stuff, because again, it's not as good in Wandering Path as it would be regular, because you don't get those big notables. But again, it's basically no time really added, so you can kind of do it passively and have a big bulk to run after.
yeah,
And then the other thing then was the shadow shaping, right? So just
yeah.
once you've have enough favorite maps, just block everything that's connected to Tropical Island and Cemetery, and then you can start getting some nice implicit maps. So saved all those so I could save up fracturing orbs, run those 3 Harvey maps with the, for fracturing orbs, and, Chayula, when I got some Chayula sextants, run the breach ones, and all the cool implicit maps that you can get from that. And I just think I like doing that way better, because then, if you took the other one, you wouldn't be able to drop like Guardian maps or Cortexes and all that stuff, right? So it was able to farm up like 6 or 7 Cortexes, like 44 invitations, basically just scouring going maps from 95 to 100.
And just to clarify, so I'm showing on in game right now for shadow shaping for those who don't know. So say you're favoriting or you want to get Cemetery and Tropical Island. For this strategy, you pick 2 connected maps, because like you're saying, when you have 100% connected, the opposite one will drop when the other one drops because you have them connected. So you block all the maps around it. So you'd be favoriting like Waste Pool because it's a joint one, Colonnade, and the ones that have the thing coming off of them. Those are the ones you are favoriting, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then yeah, even I think it only takes like 6 or 7 to block all of the maps, but I
Yep.
think it also says for every favorited map you get like 1% extra chance to
Correct.
find
Yep.
a. So just throw those into other junk maps that you don't really care for.
Yep.
So you can get the increased chance of more implicit maps.
Yeah. And I guess that's it with that. I don't really know. But like you're saying, this is people kind of might not realize that by doing this, you could basically run white or blue maps because you have almost infinite maps, and then you just keep grinding through them. You don't have to invest in mapping per se, and you could safely level this way because there's no modifiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, instead of doing like I didn't do like a Grace Determination, I did Grace Haste. And
Yep.
yeah, if you were to not do Determination, with some nasty red maps and not be a super skillful player, right? You could definitely get a couple PKs. So pretty safe in white and blue maps.
And how long would you say, roughly in hours, did it take for you to get from, we'll say 95 to 100? Because for a lot of people, like that's kind of the hurdle in
I think that was done in. I think I kind of started that grind Sunday. So, and then I kind of like started that grind and committed to it, I think like Sunday night. So I think even with some like I had to step away for a little bit on like Monday, Tuesday. I think I was done by like midday Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, again, it was a lot of hours. So,
were you doing the league mechanic during this time?
No.
Yeah.
I tried it. I think I think I had 4 or 5 deaths from 95 to 100. 2 or 3 from the lead mechanic when I first like leveled just to try it, and I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't gonna work. And then I died once at 99 to like a lag out. It's just kind of unfortunate.
Skill issue.
But yeah, skill issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. So I definitely think I definitely even learned some stuff this go around, this push too. So I think I'm gonna try it again, maybe a little more aggressively next league and see what we can do. I think I wound up finishing in like top 25 or something. So that was pretty good for me. But again, I know these other 2 gentlemen on the call are rank 1 gamers. So, but it was fun. I'm definitely excited to do it again next league. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was rank 1 lol. But that's
I'm just an old man.
Oh yeah. Legi, I thought you were pushing there for a minute. I mean, I knew that it.
No, honestly, I took that a bit different approach this time around. Like I kind of went more into gearing stuff. So I spent like first couple days and well, not couple of days, but first day and like white mobs. So I went like full expedition and essence and like kind of didn't really push XP that hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just reiterate what I did. So I kind of did similar thing that Easy did. So I started LA into tornado shot, but didn't really push into the hundreds, right? That aggressively. But I went into the very similar strat to Easy. I think like day or two after him, like because I also wanted to get to level 100. So I definitely can agree that this is the one of the safest ways to get level 100 anywhere, right? Just play safe maps, don't run mods, because that's what gonna kill you. Don't click altars, and like even if you don't have like any defense, almost like just generic suppression, evasion defense on the ranger, or like armor defense on some other character, like you're gonna survive in those maps, right? So just don't be dumb and don't run damage mods, and you can be good. Then accruing implicit maps for later, because like if you're starting SSF and you want to play long term, you kind of have to think a bit in advance. Like you're starting, your journey, and then in a week you're gonna need those things, right? So you can start working towards them while leveling, right?
The
so
fucking invitations, especially so I don't do any of the things they're saying because I'm an idiot, right? This happens all the time, and the invitations I always get milked. Where I'm like, I really wish I would have done this, maybe this league, but then I'm always like missing, the hidden. Almost always the hidden. Where every league I'm, 114, everything's done, and I'm just missing the hidden. Then I have to swap to a full breach tree because I get upset. Like, don't be like me. Be like them. Do this instead, because you don't want to do what I'm doing.
Indeed. But yeah, very very boring league start for me. Like I wanted to play something else at the league start, but I decided, fuck it. We just play bow, and I played bow, and it's pretty boring. Nothing much happened except dropping a headhunter level like 98 while trying to get to level 100. I was just saying I want to reroll. I want to play I want to play something else. I just want to play a different build.
Yeah.
Nope. Chris says you play tornado shot with headhunter. There is no way, no escape, no way to escape that fate. So,
actually, though,
unfortunate.
Yep. I was trying to find on the wiki. They don't have the list of special implicits that shadow shaping grants you, which is not surprising because the wiki is the wiki.
It's the same implicits that Kirik also sells. I made a listed there.
The list
generally very powerful, more powerful than Gilded Scarabs often even. Like 3 extra breaches, that's much better than a Gilded Scarab would be.
True. This is true. So Manny, you didn't talk about your league start stuff.
Yeah. So I decided to mix it up and not play something good this league start for once. Usually I go with the meta skills, what I think is good, but
same.
Yeah, I did a bit of a lighty this time, I guess, yeah. We rolled the Inquisitor Divine Eye. Because I remember playing that skill like 5 years ago, and I had great fun. So I just wanted to try to make it work again.
Yeah,
but it was a bit of a rough start, for sure.
You picked the good Ascensi, at least, turns out.
Yeah. The build wasn't really bad. It's just the skill doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. So, yeah. It was a pretty defensive build, so we had some CDPS moments, divine eyeing certain rares for a minute or two.
Yeah.
But once the gear was dead, it wasn't so bad. Like I reached a couple million damage. We got our Void Stones. It was alright. And then we had the glorious idea of trying out Penance Brand of Dissipation. Because it's also...
Who knew?
Yeah. I had a chatter that played that skill, and he said it was really good. I should try it. And it scales the same way as Divine Eye, luckily. It's a physical to lightning spell. It runs the same auras, same gear. All I did was swap in, or get that gem from lab and swap it in, and change like 1 support gem and 5 nodes on the tree. And yeah, that build is amazing. But I guess we get to that later. But yeah, the league start was, I honestly didn't regret it though. It was fun starting something different. The progression ended up being a lot more spontaneous. Not everything was planned out. It wasn't the same progression as the last 5 leagues. I kind of just had to adapt and see how to make it work. It was fun.
The two nice things about starting we'll just say a homebrew versus a traditional tested build is it's fun to see yourself always rank 1 on the ladder because no one else is fucking playing it.
That's true.
And then the second thing is there's nowhere to go but up, so everything feels great by comparison because you're not spending, 15 minutes fighting Maven doing 1 million damage. So those are the glorious things about playing a less than good build.
Yeah. The sad part, honestly, was like after we swapped to the different skill, the penance for anticipation, like seeing the same gear, the same build, just perform 10 times better suddenly. You know, just 4 times more damage without having to channel or stand still. It's just not fair. You know, you see how flawed the balance can be sometimes.
That exists for a lot of scenarios, especially spell builds. I think it's the more obvious, where it's like you have. I'm just gonna throw out some words, but like you say you have like Firestorm, and it performs like XYZ, then you plug in a more known skill. It can even be something that scale, like you just put in Blade Vortex, and it's like, well, this is doing twice the damage and twice the clear, and I've changed nothing. That seems strange. That happens a lot, and it's like really glaring, especially when Penance Brand has been probably the most glaring example where it's like, I've done nothing different, and I have 20 times the damage with 100% uptime of just running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yeah.
You know, it's so crazy that can happen, but yeah, it does.
I mean, to be fair, the skill is just, it's an exception, right? It's definitely slipped the balance team and they add an extra 0 to the balance numbers or something, but yeah, Divine Eye, even if you compare it to other skills, like we tried the regular Penance Brand, which is a very balanced skill and still felt way superior than Divine Eye, so yeah, that was sad. It was fun to try the different versions they added to Divine Eye, though.
Yeah.
Definitely kind of interesting. If they just, doubled that skill's damage, I think it would be popular.
That's kind of how I feel about a lot of balances. Like at the end of a league, if you have 20 skills that have less than like 0% representation on PoE Ninja, if you just doubled their damage, what would it even, like, what would it hurt? You know, like what impact would that really make? It would make them almost playable. That's what it would do. To me, that seems like, fair enough.
I was really surprised on the like a relay stream when they like were revealing the league, like when Neon was talking about this, like we don't want to like balance numbers around those things because we would play whack-a-mole every league about skills, but like it's very like strange to be honest, because we all know like you are exactly talking about it, like you play one skill and it could be really good if we had like a bit, I don't know, like 40% more damage, and a lot of people would enjoy it. Just it's kind of strange, and they went like reinventing the wheel, making new skills, and like leaving the old skills behind still, kinda. So I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah,
pretty sad, honestly.
I just think they're quite entrenched in their ideas for how they want to go about stuff, and I don't think there's going to be much change in that department for a little bit. The big thing is like, I do feel like sometimes they a little bit lose sight of that it's a game and it's supposed to be fun, and they're kind of like sheriffing fun, and I don't, if they just gave whatever Glacial Hammer 40% more damage, what's the real repercussions of that decision? Like nothing negative. There's nothing that no one's gonna stop and go play D4. It's like, the game's not gonna break. Like what could actually happen if
I don't think that's the case, honestly. I think that's not exactly what they think. Like they don't want us to have fun or like the game to be a game. I think it's just they don't want to do this because they literally don't want to do this and like think, oh, this is not gonna be a way to go. And they haven't done it in like years, but it's honestly a bit baffling to me because like a lot of people wants to play skills, I don't know, like Frost Blades or, as Manni said, like Divine Arm, and then you play something else and it deals like 30% more damage or something like that. Like twice the damage, 4 times the damage, pretty much the same gear. It just, I don't know, kind of weird.
Just play Tornado Shot, all right? That's it.
It's not about that, man. It's just the spells. Like, I think when we talk about bows, right? I really think it's a good example of what they did well, right? Like bows were insanely gear dependent, like so hard to start, and they changed like 1-2 things, buff the damage a bit, and everyone's playing bows again. So they could do similar things to spells, I think, and it would make the same impact.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, I think I saw that they released like the most played Ascendancy was this last year was Deadeye. It's like, oh no,
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, by a lot. So it's like, man, that's not going to be good next year. They're going to figure out a way to try to gut it again.
Yep. So we talked about our starters. For like, what was everyone's second build or like build testing they've done or things they've messed around with? I know Manny spoke about swapping to Penance Brand. You want to talk a little bit about how that went and like how Penance Brand was feeling, what its downsides are, that sort of stuff, whatever. He's dead. Manny's gone.
Rip.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry.
Welcome
My
back.
push to talk. Say goodbye. Anyways, yeah, Penance Brand of Dissipation. It was a bit of a journey to get there. Like I tried out the regular penance first, and that skill is nice too, but very different, right? People might think, they're both called Penance Brand. They must be pretty similar, but they play completely differently. And the Penance Brand is more like a clear skill, and you can make it clear really, really well. It has it probably has great potential to be a great mapping build, but just fixing the single target on is extremely hard because it only deals damage a single time, right? And then the brand disappears. So you're sitting there spamming brands like playing a spark build. You're sitting there spamming. Really awkward playstyle on single target. Yeah, Penance Brand of Dissipation was completely different. That is quite the opposite. You apply the brand once and just let it sit there and let it get stronger and stronger, because that's what it does. It gets stronger every time it hits, just ramping up to a pretty absurd single target damage. When I said I had a couple million DPS and we killed the regular bosses on Divine Ire, but then I swapped to this Penance Brand of Dissipation and my damage went to the moon. Like, we were instantly uber ready with the same gear, nothing else.
Nice.
Am I still here?
You're still here, yeah.
I was worried my internet might have died because
No, you're good. You're good.
I had some sites not loading here, but okay. But the build or the skill itself became insanely popular. Like it was picked up by like 10 other streamers. Like a day after I logged into it, I found it, and it's been like one of the most popular skills this league.
Yeah, it's mostly single target, right? Because it's clear as like okay.
Yeah, the clear can be fixed with explosions, but that's not exactly easy to get on the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest problem, honestly, about the skill is that you have to farm the gem. Yeah. If that's what I wanted to ask you guys, but I guess it didn't go through because my push to talk didn't work earlier. But did any of you guys league start an alt quality? I guess not really, right?
Yep.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
How long did you farm lab for it?
So thankfully, I league started Cleave of Rage, and there's actually a huge benefit to that because it's a red gem. There's significantly less red trans gems than the other two gems, meaning the odds of getting it is much higher because you're rolling a 1 in 3 each time. There's 33 gems. On average, it's 11 attempts. And it took me, I think, 13 labs. I just did normal lab 13 times until I got it. Now, the next build I played, I tested out, was a blue skill. And to get what was the soul rend of the spiral took me, I think, 43 normal labs I did. And as a byproduct, I got Penance Brand, Storm Brand, because I wanted to get all the other gems anyway, so I didn't really mind just swapping gem to gem. But I think it's really, really bad for blue. It's also bad for green. It's like a 1 in 30 or something, or 40 to hit the one you want, or the pool is very large compared to the red gem. So, but later on, when because I played like 12 builds, I had a better method than just doing normal lab. I tried Uber and it was fine, but I just didn't have enough offerings. And then Merc Lab seemed like the most economical choice because you could do it infinitely. Did about 4 minutes per Merc Lab or whatever. And it seemed to be about like a 1 in 10-ish to get the option to turn a gem into a specific trans gem, which is great if there's only one outcome. So for like Penance Brand. So I'd end up doing Merc Lab a bunch for those hunting specific gems. But early on, I just did normal lab a ton, and it was, as good as that could be. But it wasn't too bad. You were saying something, Legi? Or easy?
Yeah, I too played Manni's Penance Brand for my second build, and it was really, really good. So all of his spark notes apply to my second build as well. I kind of rolled it just because I feel like I always have some issues with Uber Cyrus on Tornado Shot. And so I just rolled that and I dropped the Massive Thread of Hope in like my second Cyrus. So I
Ooh,
haven't really played it
lucky
much
boy.
since. Yep.
That's very good.
So in and out. Leveled it, 2 Cyrus kills, and then retired it. Back
Nice.
to bows.
I also did Penance Brand. I don't even know why I made it, because I haven't really touched overbossing, but it just I think it was just for like doing feared farming. I did a power charge route, which was different than, I think yours was like almost all rares, Manny. Like you did a more tankier version.
Yeah.
I did like I had like Ralakesh boots, Malachi loop, Void Bat, like that whole thing. Felt great. You're still quite tanky. Just Inquisitor walking around with suppression cap, determination. You're just pretty tanky. Like even then. But yeah, like for King of the Mist, it's like I think I had I think my Penance Brand's like almost 13 seconds or something. So which is like as more than you could ever need for the duration of that skill. So you just cast it once, then that's it. The boss will be phased by the time
Yeah.
anything happens, which is, and it's like the same thing for Uber. I did like a couple Uber eaters, and I think it was always one Penance Brand, and he was dead like that no matter what, which is kind of crazy. So I could see, I think you mentioned in our first podcast we did or something that, or maybe Legi did when I was another thing, but it was like, that's for sure if they ever do, like anyone who's doing hardcore racing or anything like that, where it's first to kill whatever bosses they do every time. That's, to me, seems like the, without question, skill where it's like you have to basically invest very little. You're going to get more damage than we've ever seen for single target for like barely any effort. And the biggest part is you get to focus on not dying when it's happening, because you don't have to do anything. You cast it, and then when you stop hearing thump, 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 you get to cast again. That's the entire engagement.
Yeah. That's exactly my feelings when I first swapped to the skill and did some bossing on it. I said would be the skill to do like a one divine Uber challenge or something.
Yeah.
You just need the skill gem and a tabula pretty much. Like It's so strong.
Yeah. I think there's probably ways they could balance it where they like, I don't want to say give it like a negative cast speed or just make it so it scales less energy per each trigger, but cast speed just goes, an activation rate goes like insane on.
Yeah. I'm really curious what they're going to do on with the skill next league.
Just delete it. Yeah.
Hoping they would just, delete the ramped up damage, like the bossing DPS, because the clear is already kind of bad. If they nerf that as well, then it's going to be pretty dead.
I played a little bit with the Storm brand, that one. That also feels great. I didn't make I know that a lot of people are doing either life stacking Ivory Tower Energy Blade versions. That seems to be one of the more popular ones of Storm brand. I haven't tried that yet, but even then, it just seems like whatever Penance brand has for single target, the Storm brand feels like it has that for clear, where it's like you click once and this thing is zipping around the screen, and it like explodes out, shatters, everything's gone. So if you were trying to do like what Easy mentioned in the beginning, for like, if you've ever gotten 100, you do the tree that he had, and you play something like a Storm brand builder, an Inquisitor, whatever, where you're pretty tanky with low investment, you're just going to be walking through the game. And, if you ever want to get 100, this is a great league to do it. There's no shortage of things.
Well, XP this league is something that we can, if we are on the XP topic, then we can mention what the league mechanic does to XP, which is a very interesting thing. Because like there's this one spectrum of, your build is bad, so you can play white maps and get level 100 easy. Mm-hmm. But if your build is good, then you just, engage with the league mechanic. And oh boy, I'm going to say that like I never seen something as ridiculous as this. When you run a map that, that has like some juice in it with like big wisps, like getting 10% XP at level like I think 99 per map, it's absolutely ridiculous what you can do to level up. Yeah, I think
I leveled to 112 maps yesterday.
It's absurd,
And
honestly.
honestly, a step further is I got from 97 to 98 in 8 icebergs. tier 9 icebergs like that.
Yeah,
You could
it's
it
crazy.
shouldn't be happening really. So there's like 0 risk. Like you could easily MF and yellow maps to 100 this league with really 0 chance of dying.
To be fair,
Yeah.
a very whizzed up yellow map feels harder than a
yeah.
regular T16 map.
Yeah,
by
they
far.
chunk. They're so tanky.
Yeah, the tankiness most of all, and there's the amount of projectiles and the speed. But if you have something like the Defiance of Destiny amulet to negate small hits, then you can't really die in low tier maps.
Projectile. It's the real killer isn't even the enemy. It's if you misclick Alt. That's the real, if you accidentally show the loot in the ground. I've, for the first time ever, maybe since Blight first came out, when it was like all the loot was on the pump and filters weren't as good, I've crashed from hitting Alt on a map, which hasn't happened to me in years, which is wild. Legi was mentioning, how you could just, the alternate ways of running maps, which either you could run them white with a juice or you could juice them to the moon. MFing this league, if you even want to call it that, you don't have to put on any MF gear, has been, I don't know if I think it's probably better than Harvest on the top end scenario, right? Like, as far as the amount of uniques that drop in a map?
I think the uniques are pretty similar.
Yeah.
But the currency you get this league, right? The blue wisp mechanic, just dropping divines left and right, like averaging multiple divines every single map. And the hidden across locks and mirrors and keys, and that's absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real crazy.
Right.
Yeah, so
how have you guys... Sorry, go ahead.
Manni. You can go.
Well, I was wondering how you guys felt about the league mechanic on league start for like the first couple of days. Have you perceived it as good or as well as you feel about it now?
It felt I liked how there was, I got the feeling that there was kind of like no pressure to engage with it, and at the same time it was encouraged to just kind of walk in, wander around, and like see what's up. Like it felt very natural the way that you interacted with the mechanic, which I think is like perfect for how a league mechanic should be in a way that's like, it was very intuitive, where it's like, all right, I'm picking up juice, I'm getting more loot, things are harder in some ways, and I'm like, it's effort in, currency out, and it, like, I never felt where I was like, like the first time you like looked at a betrayal board and you're like, what is happening a little bit. Never felt like that where I was like, I gotta break out my notebook. It just felt like I'm killing stuff, I'm wandering around, I'm getting juice. And now that we understand it more, obviously you could be like, all right, I want purple for spires, I want to do that for all that stuff, but like it just felt so fluid. I interacted with it while leveling a lot also, and it just felt like a really fluid experience, and I would be like 15 levels over the zone while leveling, So for me, I think it felt like maybe a little confusing in the beginning, but it was very quickly like became just more exploratory and learned, which I thought was spot on.
But were you like actually juicing up maps with it, or like did you try to get a lot of wisps? And
no, I juiced until I died, and then basically what I would do is I'd like if I'm starting mapping, I was like alking white maps right at the very beginning. I'd be like, all right, let's see how much wisp, let's see how many wisps I can get. Then I would get a lot. I'd be like, all right, this is going good. I'm getting loot, and then I hit a rare that has 4 mods, triple empowered. It's like, this is an uber boss now. This has become, and really what it reminded, it really showed me how insanely strong the mark mastery is that says enemies can't regenerate. Because if I didn't have that thing, I would never have killed half the rares in the beginning of the league. Like, if you got a rare that had like recoup, leech, whatever, all that stuff, it's like they became immortal. So
yeah,
that became super obvious that I have to stop them regenning. I could keep juicing. Like, I didn't care if I died. It was just like, it felt like the most appropriate trade-off of scaling enemy difficulty with reward, where every time I spent 5 minutes fighting, these ridiculous 9-mod rares, I would see a definitive reward, where I didn't feel that a lot of the time previously for the past couple. Really, I would say since, they've tried to work on this concept of build your own monster kind of between like Metamorph, Archnem, whatever. This to me feels like the best iteration of that, where it's like, yes, it could be extremely challenging, extremely timely to fight a rare, but it's so clear that when I hold Alt and I see 90, rares or uniques underneath them, it's like, okay, I know exactly that I'm not wasting my time fighting this. I may have gotten unlucky this time or lucky this time, but my time is not wasted. This effort is worth it. That felt like obvious instantly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have to second that feeling. Like, I think this is the most important thing about league mechanic. Like, all the you guys said, I kind of definitely agree with. But like the effort in output out is like the most important thing in my opinion in every league mechanic, and like how it feels to interact with it. And I think they nailed it completely with this one. You have a lot of player agency. Like you can choose what to do with it, and then if you wanna engage a lot into the forest, like get all the wisps. On top of that, if you get lucky, then you get even more. And it really feels that that it's great. Like I love it. I love everything about this league mechanic, honestly. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
it's interesting. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You haven't
ahead,
said
go
anything yet, but what's your feeling about it?
Oh well, yeah.
What did you do league mechanic early on?
Well, I mean, that was the thing, right? I didn't. So, I mean, I can't speak
Okay.
too much on it, right? But it was every time that I did it, I was like super salty about it. And then I know that probably by the time I actually really started doing it and putting on maps, I think they'd already made some adjustments to it. So I don't think the only times I ever played it, I guess, in its more rippy form, if that's kind of what we're talking about, was those, like I said, those first few deaths that I had, like whenever I just leveled, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna skip this for a few more days, let them figure out whatever they're gonna figure out, and then I'll get back into juicing maps or whatever.
Yeah, my experience was pretty much the opposite of what Lighty just described. Really, like whenever I did the league mechanic on League Start for the first few days, I always felt like it was not worth the time at all. Like suddenly my map boss took 4 times as long. Maybe it was because my build just was naturally very low damage and more like a tanky build that I League Start at this time. But I always felt like, why did I empower? Why did I make this mistake? Now I'm wasting so much time here, and I didn't see enough rewards for it to be worth. Like
You were in
I
red
spent
maps,
so much
though,
extra
right?
time.
Like you were in 16s and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Like
See,
I tried.
I was in tier ones. That's the difference, I think.
Okay, you stayed there, I guess. Okay, so you're overpowered.
For the first week, I pretty much stayed in tier ones until until I was like 90, because once I started chisel alking, investing in maps, and I was like, I just killed the glacier goat and he dropped 40, uniques. This is like crack in my veins. Like I couldn't hop off. So I never even got to the struggle of your stage, and I'm sure I would have experienced that. But I was given so many treats early on that I was like, well, why leave? It's like I'm being treated so well right here.
Yeah, like I did it while progressing. Like I tried it out several times in white maps and yellow maps and red maps, and what I ended up doing, because I really wanted charms and the ascendancy upgrade.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing is usually I did the league mechanic at the end of the map for the first 2-3 days of the league. Most of the time I tried to actually avoid boss, or sometimes I would like kill the boss, and if the boss was close to the start, maybe I would then empower the rest of the map.
Yeah,
but I wanted to really avoid empowering the map bosses because it would just take forever to kill.
That's an exhausting experience. It sounds like having to backtrack each map to go.
I wouldn't backtrack every map, but if the layout would allow it to do it easily, then I would go back. But yeah, I would try to avoid doing it at the beginning of the map usually. I just try to get some charms going to upgrade my character, and that's pretty much what the league mechanic was for me for the first half a week or so. It pretty much all changed when I swapped to Penance Brand. Suddenly, because I think I swapped at level 98, and as soon as I swapped, I was gonna go for level 100, and then I fully empowered my tier 16 maps, and I got amazing XP per hour with all the empowerment, and that's when I fell in love with the league mechanic.
Yeah.
And pretty much as soon as I was overpowered, but playing something that was on the balance power curve, it didn't feel very good to me.
I have to be clear with what I said as well, because like I felt I feel really nice about league mechanic right now when my character is strong, but like it was a very similar experience to Manni early on. Like when I went in like T16s with like a barely 6-link character level 94, it was a struggle. Like when you didn't have like really good gear, because like everything is so freaking tanky, and especially that we didn't know that the more wisps you gather, the exponentially harder things become. So yeah, was a struggle. So I decided after a couple deaths, maybe we can do some league mechanic after the map is cleared. So because meta progression from charms and like tinctures is very, very powerful. So that's where we get the character power this time around, right? But for me, yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, just wanted to mention that despite all of that, it felt really natural just going in, and like I love the visuals. Like I don't know why, it's like so alluring to me. Just go in, look at the visuals, and then see the glitter pop from the wisp is just so satisfying.
The confetti.
Yeah,
I do like the big old the glittery explosions when you kill a pack that's full of empowerment. Just kind of fairy dust everywhere.
How did you guys feel when you first found the what's his name?
King of the Mist?
No, not the King of the Mist.
Oh,
this rare enemy.
of Agony?
The Incarnation of
Yeah,
Agony,
that
exactly.
guy.
Did you feel agony when you found him? Or how did you feel?
Yes.
Didn't even
I still feel
fucking
agony.
see him. He literally flickered to me off screen and I got one shot. The first, and I had to like I had to replay stream because I was live and I was like, what even just killed me? Because it must have, I think it shut off it shuts off your regen, leech, like any form of anything.
You can't heal at all, I think.
It switches that's a decision to make. And then it must have happened when I was already kind of low. And it had like zero, intro music. It just was like, there, I'm dead, and there it is, and it's gone. All right, cool. But, since then, I've encountered it like 4 or 5 more times. And he kind of just, it's a bit self-solving. He kind of flickers away, and then like I could heal back up, and then, but he just seems like he's a mob that has a bunch of IQIR and like explodes and drops like 3-4 uniques, and sure, I don't really know what his place is in the mechanic. He just seems like a troll that Ahmad added. Like I don't know.
Oh, it's just like a danger in the darkness, right? So like
I guess
some
he's more
horror to the whole
frequent. I mean,
forest.
he's so rare though. Like I've seen him, and then I've seen the unique vendor, that guy, like 3-4 times each, and that's about like yeah. And they've always had trash or sold me trash or nothing worth nothing.
Somehow I still haven't seen the vendor. Like I've interacted with League Mechanic a lot. Not a single time. I don't know if I'm blind. It probably is the case.
Maybe you're blind, yeah.
Honestly, it's not that even anomalous because you probably have spawned him 20 times, but he's just in. Like that's kind of the hidden frustration of the mechanic, right? It's like how many instances have we entered that had a King of the Mist, but we just never saw it because it was on the opposite side, something like that.
Or like the omens. I don't know. I feel like I probably have overlooked hundreds of not hundreds. That's exaggeration.
He ain't missing much.
A lot of omens. Yeah, they're all like like level up and you get adrenaline or whatever, right? But
those are very.
Don't lose XP like twice. That was the best thing so far. But in this league, you save like half a map.
I mean the omen thing is. I'm no game dev, right? But I just think that anytime you add a mechanic where 90% of the outcomes are bad, it's like kind of a bad thing. And to me, that's like the omen is there's so many, like, sure, there's a lot of, you're doing the feared, maybe you want the don't die thing or whatever, but like there's so many duds in that mechanic and the odds of getting any of the good ones. Like of all the things to bring over from Toda, that was the thing. Like not the tattoos, they brought the omens, like the pile of shit omens. It was very strange to me, kind of.
I think it's more targeted towards like HC, I think. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Say the same thing.
Yeah.
Getting adrenaline when you reach low life is, or something along those lines, of healing when you reach below than 25 or whatever. Like, nobody's really going to bother with that in softcore for the most part.
Capstone Death Portal one.
Well, that one is not so hardcore viable, yeah, but all the other ones... Pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could still get a 6-link omen, right? I guess they could still drop.
Well, the real cool one, I think, would be the Trash to Treasure one, because Rakiatas has no other base inside for a Grave Sword.
True.
So if you find that, you find an instant Rakiatas. If you were missing that, not that it's worth shit in trade. To be it's the rarest item in the game, and it's not worth anything. But
yeah, I haven't even seen the 6-socket omen though.
No, same.
And then there's a 6-link omen. It's like 10 times rarer, and then even rarer is the fortune. So I wouldn't get my hopes up.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier you were looking for power and charms, etc. Manny, did everyone
Yeah.
here start Primalist, or did we all start different stuff? Like, what did
Well,
we?
I
What
went
was
for
your?
the Warden in story. Like I got Warden in Act 3 just to get the 30 movement speed.
Yep.
And then as soon as I was in maps, I would try to find the Huntress and respec out of it. But then yeah,
I don't even.
Primalist.
I don't even think I took my guy until after I hit 100.
That's fair.
Like I don't even
Nice,
think
really.
I don't even think I
Really?
picked it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like so. I don't know. I just like felt like I didn't have time to think, kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
which obviously there's huge benefits to picking one, and it wasn't hard to do. But I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I didn't pick one until I was level
Especially
100.
for bows to get the tinctures, I feel like would have been probably
Yeah,
pretty
smart.
good.
Yeah, whatever. Just playing on hard mode for no reason.
So I started with charms. Also, I think a lot of people saw the charms and was like, that's the best option, in the beginning. And then I will give props to Legi because he's been a tincture apologist since day one, effectively. But I do feel, and it turns out now, I think I don't want to say tinctures are stronger, but the apparent power level you get from a build that uses a tincture is like undeniably stronger feeling for me than a build that's using charms. Like the tincture goes so deep and so far compared to like the charms do on the builds that really can utilize them. So between playing the Mamba build I've been playing without the tincture wouldn't work, like the variation I'm playing, and it times your damage by 20 times by making it so all your damage can poison. So you can use 2 Rebuke of the Vows and it's crazy. And then I was playing Power Siphon and it was fine. And then I put on the all damage can freeze tincture with the cold pen, and I just took off all my flasks, so it gained all the effect of the remaining flasks. And it's like fucking insane. Like you're freezing act bosses, you're freezing Uber Azaro. Like it feels so powerful. The tinctures, like when they hit so hard, but like a lot of them feel like real duds. And the main thing I think that I feel about both of these is that I don't know why a magic item that is unmodifiable can drop with 1 mod. That is the strangest thing to me of all this.
Yeah, that's the thing I really hate about tinctures, because like there's so many good mods on tinctures, and there's like also so many shit ones, and I think it's much worse than charms overall, because I mean you kind of can 5-1 them, but it feels so much worse
It's
than
much
charms
more
for some
narrow
reason.
because
Like,
you have, if you're using like a poison one, you have to use there's no negotiating. That's like your build doesn't work without it, So it's a lot rougher.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like when you utilize the tincture well, when it hits, right?
Yeah.
Like you can really utilize it very well, and especially like the poison one been stable with a lot of builds. But yeah, I've always thought that tincture is gonna be like really really good, and turned out to be right on that one. Even though I'm still disappointed at GG, honestly. I'm kind of disappointed what they did with mods. Like there's a couple really interesting mods, but could have been a bit better. Like especially the prefix, I think, like the pen and something like those are kind of way not the best in my opinion.
It's sorry, what were you saying, Manny?
I just wanted to say I've been trying to farm like a better tincture in the last couple of days, and it's impossible.
Yeah,
like it's so hard to get proper mods. Like it's probably a huge upgrade to go to Trade League in that regard.
Yeah,
like being able to buy the tincture you actually want for your build, but trying to find the 2 mods for your build is nearly impossible. It's so hard.
And even then, it could be like some
not
of them
being craftable,
Like for the poison one, I'm using the one that says like your first poison does more damage. Like the range is 150 to 300, split over 2 tiers. So it's like even harder to get a second relevant mod, and then they both be rolled on a poison. Like I'll probably not see another one this league. Like it's just that's it's like finding, I think was it Legi found a max res explosion charm, right? It's very possible like that's the only one you find of that, and like it's kind of a little, I don't say upsetting, but like we put in a lot of hours. I feel like we should be able to see some of these things a little bit more frequently.
I think that's wrong though. I think we are just
You're
SSF
wrong.
Apologists. No, it's just we are salty SSF players that complaining because they can't have shit. So yeah,
it's a bit like Sanctified Relics, right? We had the
Yeah.
same problem there. But back in Sanctified Relics, it was untradeable for everyone.
It's true.
Everyone had to self-farm them, and then people actually
You're right,
complained.
Manny.
Now it's just an
That's
SSF.
the answer. The charms
problem,
and
so-
tinctures should not be tradable. I agree.
It would make me feel
Punish
better.
everybody.
Yeah, but then they would, if they would actually be
Yeah.
like 3 times easier to hit, and then it would be better for us. Now they balance them around trade, making them pretty hard for SSFers to find. But yeah, what can you do?
But when the charm hits, it hits, dude. Like
Yeah, your
the
charm
high
is
it's
absurd.
something. Like when you get the Giga charm, then
It was kind of
it's like the
interesting,
highest
actually.
high.
I don't know why I just thought of this right now. So we haven't even mentioned the Warlock in. It's very possible we won't. But there's 3 different subclasses, right? And we have the Warlock stuff, you have the tinctures, you have the charms. They all have their places, whatever. And then you have the big boss of the expansion, and I would say the most important drop from him is a jewel that has charm stats on it. And it just dawned on me, why doesn't that roll pool also contain Warlock stuff and tincture stuff? Like, why is it that the King of the Mist only has a jewel that has charm rolls when the other 2 are like, couldn't that have included like, I don't know, something related to the other 2?
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Like, it's true.
It's just like straight favoritism towards charms. I assume it's because I don't know if there was any, like, you definitely couldn't have on a jewel all damage could poison. Like, that would be, way too strong. What could you have on the Warlock that would be there? I don't even know, like, if it would make sense. And it just seems like this is pre-planning for base game implementation to me, where it's like the jewel probably goes core. If anything goes core, is they just make the jewel go core, and its roll pool is so varied that it kind of RNGs itself out, like a Watcher's Eye, like a whatever. There's a history of rare randomized jewels in this game apparently. So that's my.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for, right? Like I thought more about like having different items. Like let's say this jewel is related to charms and like ascendancy, and there's gonna be like one more item that's like kind of random to maybe another jewel or some kind of body armor related to tinctures. But I guess it's the uniques that are kind of flavorful. But yeah, I think I agree that it just base game implementation and it just would be too much, honestly. Like it's already 4 rolls on the jewel, right?
Yeah.
And at least they were generous to us and they didn't include tiers, so it's always the highest tier of the thing, right? But
there's still rolls within the jewel. There's like a roll range, and you could divine it, and it doesn't change the jewel. So if you wanted to get a perfect whatever, you could. But yeah,
I gotta say, actually, now that I was thinking about it, the other king drops, they're actually related to the other 2 ascendancies. Right,
kind
the
of,
amulet
yeah.
is
The Magi
has synergy with the warden, don't have gems in your item thingy, and then the staff that you guys have never seen, but I've seen it. It actually is a warlock thing. It is it is like the warlock blood magic tree synergy.
And they're all just as good as the jewel, right? That's a no. All right.
Well,
nope.
Staff real good.
The jewel is just extremely OP, honestly. The jewel is going to be similar to Watcher's Eye, where every build needs to use that jewel. You're just wondering, what do I put on my jewel? But every build is going to use that jewel.
It is kind of nice that there is like another, I guess, like in a place to put like a high powered item. I mean, it is kind of nice it is a jewel slot, only because then you really got to think what your other jewels are, right?
Yeah.
I think that adds some balance. Like, I mean, again, I guess probably like in Soul Selfbound, we probably don't get a lot of flesh and flame combos, but if you're a trade league enjoyer, right? Like, how many jewel slots do you actually have between?
There's so many because it even got worse with the adorned. Like, to be honest, it got even more stringent. You have a possible escape, you have thread, you have, there's just path is like endgame path now is just, you'll see the builds and they'll have 15 jewels. And there's clusters and there's uniques and there's voice. It's like,
you can usually tell if a POB is for SSF or for trade. Like an endgame POB, because the SSF one has like 3 rare jewels and a Watcher's Eye, and the trade one has like 12 unique jewels.
Yeah. It's fun though when you look at your tree and it looks like just circles everywhere, just circles. That's the optimized tree.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Timeless jewel thread.
More complexity, right? That's what we want.
I like it. for trade especially, because it's like, yeah, you got all your best in slot jewels, but now you got to get corrupted implicits. You know, you got to get 3% reservation or corrupting blood or all that stuff. So there's always another step. I think that in trade especially, it's very healthy to have these kind of, you know, like in a realistically in trade, no one will ever be running a medium because they should have megalomaniacs in their one passive voices, right? If we're talking about like POV trees, so it's like these are the heights of the heights of turbo min maxing 50 mirror builds, and then anything that just add another notch to that, I think is as healthy as you can get for trade, as long as it's like, you know, also accessible to just get the thing. I don't mind there being an item like this. Seems really rare because it's like it could be incredibly shit, but still have, you know, the odds of getting one decent roll on a King of the Mist Jewel is pretty okay, like for something.
Yeah, it's very high.
To me, that's fair. Like that's totally fair. And if you want a 4 mod insane one, that's where you get, you know, you get the trade ones. The real question becomes accessibility of the boss post league if we're talking about this, because right now I think this boss is very accessible. You could probably find him 3-4 times an hour easy if you just popped in red maps and ran around.
Really?
That seems like
4 times per hour. It sounds kind of optimistic.
Even if you're not clearing the
him.
map, I'm saying you just like you walk in the thing, walk out.
Yeah, but it still takes like half a minute or a minute, right, to do the full forest and get to next map and so on.
Yeah, but then I got to load up my third party, my third party software that tells me where the king is. You know.
Oh yeah, I'm not using that one.
Ban.
That I don't know if that did exist right last week, or that was a thing. I think someone was saying in Discord at least there was the third party software that could tell you where the king was. That I think it was people were getting banned for, but
I mean, it probably still exists, and don't do that though.
Yeah, don't use third-party software unless it's one of the 90 ones used when you're playing Path Trade that everyone else uses, like Acquisition or whatever the fuck, or PoE Trade Boy.
As long as you're not
nowadays.
Yeah, as long as you're not scanning the game files, you should be fine in most cases.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Honestly, it could be even more accessible next league. It's kind of random nowadays, right? In some leagues, the league bosses become more accessible afterwards. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
Speaking
like
of accessible
Master, right?
bosses,
Trial Master.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I wish we had last league back. It was easier to farm without ultimatum in the game. Now we have to do ultimatum again to find him.
The GGG special.
I thought Delph was bad, but ultimatum.
Yeah,
No,
it's pretty bad.
Have you guys done any ultimatum? Or should we talk about that later?
A little bit. No, I didn't do any, but I know some people in my Discord ran like hundreds and were starting to track it. And some guy ran 120, didn't see one Trial Master, and I was like, I don't know if that's like.
Did you have the increased chance nodes?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
increased chance to
so
spawn.
One dude tried it with Wandering Path, one dude tried it with the regular thing on. Like they were just trying stuff, and they were like, yeah, I mean, you make like 3-4 divines an hour, but I could just make 10 divines an hour doing tier 1 maps right now if I was just wisp hunting. So I don't know if it's really that good.
Yeah, I think for how difficult the mechanic is, it just feels so bad. Like that's my main thing is like we are praising league mechanic, but that you can adjust difficulty. You know, you can do it the way you like it to do, and then there's ultimatum. Like you have to go in, you get fucked all the time by the really annoying mods. You have to choose how you get fucked, and that's not always good. And then you get like 3 divines, and then you don't get Trial Master, and then Trial Master just drops his heart.
Have you guys done any of the 13 wave keystone? Like the really hard ultimatums?
Nope. No.
For what?
I can't do the wave.
I can't wait to get my 3 catalysts so I can get into level 50 contract. Yeah, I'm just gonna go do heist.
It's so sad, right? Because that's basically like aspirational. Like that's so hard, right? I feel like that's on the level of doing flawless jewelers or something.
Like a Blight Ravage without any towers. Yeah,
Blight Ravage. Yeah, it's really difficult. 13 waves, you can't choose the mods, right? It's extremely difficult to do that, but the rewards aren't there apparently. I haven't done it myself, but people have been hating on it a lot.
Like, there's other examples of doing this type of content so much better in the game. Like Simulacrum, then when they pushed it from 20 to 30, it's like, yeah, it gets really, really hard at the upper waves, but like you get rewarded in a lot of ways. They totally whiffed. I mean, for like the upward scaling of this, like there's no... Like the top end, I mean, unless it was like wave 13 somehow guaranteed a Trial Master on like the 14th wave. Like there had to be something. Like it's not like you're doing Sim and you get like a guaranteed jewel to drop, you know? Like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. You could do all that and you can get a divine. And it's like, that's cool for 10 minutes of slogging through hell.
Yeah,
But
I didn't keep track of how many it took, but I think I've fought 3 trial masters, and yeah, but it took a lot of maps, so it's I don't know. Yeah, definitely, the idea of ultimatum being back on the map device is great. And yeah, until like it in practice, and it's like, oh yeah, I'd rather actually just farm some delve, I think, to honestly get 6 portals, because I will admit in one of my 3 fights, I did whiff it, and it sucks because it's like, well shit, there goes 50 maps of progress because
yep,
I played it
Oh,
bad or
shit, yeah.
something.
like the good old days of
Right.
ultimatum.
Right, right.
You might have like a
Alright,
ruin or
you-
something on you, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was something. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, oh, and it just like knocked me out. I was like, damn it.
Oh, that's annoying, man. Easy, I have a strat for you. You know how you get hate forge? I have a strat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you don't hate yourself. You just
Okay.
open Valdos. You open Valdo boxes until you get hate forge. And you don't have to interact with shittily mechanic.
True. Valdos.
That's
All
my,
right.
my strat.
Did you find
Ooh.
it?
No, I've seen it,
okay.
seen a box. It exists, so it's
It
not
exists,
voided
yeah.
either.
No, it exists.
Well,
There's
the
only 300 for now, right? We're gonna find it before the patch hits with more Waldo implementations.
Yeah.
I think half of those are mage blood maps that just void you. Seems like there's a lot of that.
But they have hate forge and a key too, right? We just farm a shitload of keys this league and
Yep,
just get
both.
lucky.
In fact.
Yeah. Just get,
I'm
just get
opening like 20, 30
You guys
void
wanna
boards
find
a
hate forge?
fucking week at this point, like easily. It's
I'm happy
crazy.
to find like one useful unique in a quad dev.
Oh,
of keys,
they've
to
all
be honest.
been left on the ground
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I brought them back. But it's nice to see them. I really just like seeing the messages and just thinking, wow, some guy wasted $500 for that stupid ass message. That brings me joy. Knowing
Yeah,
they're
at
having
least
a
with
good time.
at least with the messages, though, at least it's not like impossible maps that void you. So it's like they're gonna sit in my stash tab forever. Like I don't, like all those
I mean, that's
bated breath and
that's a dead
Veil
horse
of
we
the
could
Night.
beat. That's
Yeah. Fair enough. Beat it.
Most of them are actually not voided, at least from
No.
my experience. Like I've opened like
After
15
the first
now.
week, yeah. The first week, it was, I swear to God, it was like the 10 people who put the maps out all clicked void or something. Like, they should have like
add
capped
more
it.
already?
Yeah, I think I think there was a second wave from whatever the previous patch was.
Oh, okay. I thought it was still the
It
initial
may have
wave
just been
only.
the first ones found, just all had. It looked like, when I looked on trade, it was like, I could void my character for a Ventor's cool. That's feels real good, man.
I kind of changed my my stance on those boxes. I was like really salty about it. First of all, like I don't know, I didn't feel that was a good addition. But right now, I was like, honestly, it's fine. Like they're kind of fun.
Better than keys.
Yeah,
Like the void thing, I'm not happy about because it's just I don't know. I will never run a void map in SSF. It's just like
Same.
too many hours on the line. More like a trade thing probably. But it feels better to actually having to run like a fun map and work for you for unique than just get one on the ground. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's on a real map to map basis as far as how I view that. Like, this is, if the map's intention is to be fun, then I will have fun doing it. But if it's just like some guy clicked on all 10 negative modifiers, to me that's not fun. That's just him trying to make someone else have a bad time, which I don't. I don't want to have it so much that I'm fighting the feared with 0% view radius, with no items on in the dark. Like I don't know. That's not my definition of fun personally. But like fighting the feared, where they each have a ghost in an open map, like where there's other things happening. It's like if there's I can actually engage with the mechanic. I can't have fun if I'm not engaging with the mechanic, and if I'm just fighting in the dark.
Oh, you can. Just need a good build.
Yeah, and then the client freezes because I'm on Sao Paulo and I get voided. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't think I'll enter a voided map before like the last week of the league or something. But some of the other maps look really fun. I've done a couple ones with like 4 times ghosted gigantic exiles.
That one
There's
seems
some fun
funny,
stuff
yeah.
in there.
Is that the one that gives you
Or
like a
just,
giant Spain or something?
Yeah, that's the first one I found, and that was fun. It actually dropped me on my first Death Rush, because I magic found that map. I went for the forest, and I put on like 2 Ventors. And it actually dropped a lot of uniques.
yeah. Some of them are definitely fun. Honestly, I've had a atoll map that like gives you a headhunter and like spawns frogs, and you just get a vendor. It's like really fun. And
gives
chill.
you Headhunter as in you steal the rare modifiers.
yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, sorry, modifiers. Sorry. Should have, no, it doesn't
He's
give you
dropping them
another.
so casually, it doesn't even matter. He's like, yeah, it gives you hit,
Yeah.
whatever.
Hey, y'all don't have one yet?
It's true.
I mean, everyone has a Headhunter and the Mirror and the Mage Blood and Foiled Mage Blood and everything.
Unicorn's Locks and Kalandra's Touch and
This league really feels.
I'm scour chancing an engraved greatsword Legi. This is dark times, you know.
You know, this is like 1 in a million, right?
But what if I just hit it after you said that? You'd look like such a fool, you know. Why don't you want me to win?
Not everyone's old and dumb and bold. So.
I even 6-linked it for better luck. Come on.
You should probably throw the item sales for to the vendor. That way people know you truly.
Oh yeah, I should guild it. Yeah.
What do you think of my? They should remove all Magic Find gear next league and put the wisp mechanic into the wisping up the maps to make them harder.
In a vacuum, I don't think MF should exist. Full stop. I completely agree that there should be a way to appropriately
like SN
balance.
Gear, right? You mean?
Oh yeah, no gear. I don't think MF gear should exist at all. Like you should be able to scale difficulty to where it appropriately gives you a result. Now, I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell they would ever implement that properly. But I think that on paper, that would be a great idea. But I think they would just fuck it up royally. Like,
yeah, I just feel like the league mechanic perfectly showcases how the core content of Magic Find should work. You should be able to make the map way harder and then make it drop a lot of extra
suggested that
instead of
years ago. Like, and that I think that's a fantastic.
But now
idea.
they finally have a mechanic to do it, right? Wouldn't it be the perfect opportunity to say, yes, you guys can keep the wisps, but we're gonna remove all your quantity gear.
Yeah, I think that'd be
I
great.
think they are too scared of doing that. As Lighty said, I think they just are so scared of balancing it and like fucking it up because like it's just such.
It would be catastrophic if that even for the first week of a league was. We saw what happened when things get incorrect, like remotely to that extent. If that was fucked up, it would be catastrophic. Like as far as the pushback, I think if you're going to do it, pre path 2 would be the time.
But now, there was pushback, sure, but now a couple months later, a year later, we're in the best state it's ever been, right? And more players than ever before. So,
I mean, it took a long time. Like you remember what happened in Calendar? Like people were not happy. People were not playing. You know, they lost so much money. And if they do that again, like twice, and like entire game is balanced around it,
I think they would have to do it before Path 2. If they were going to do it, I think it'd have to be before Path 2, or like when Path 2 comes out, so people could just go play Path 2 if they.
That's have to make it so that it doesn't sound like we get nerfed, right? Well, because people might think, "Oh no, I lose my Magic Find gear now. I get less loot."
They have a
if they
real.
Give us the wisp
something.
Permanently, though, we'll get more loot than a Magic Find build would get before. You know.
But how often
you can play your real builds.
They remove something, and then 2 leagues later they give it back to us as if it was a present. Like that happens so often. You know, it's like, hey, we removed your power here, but like look over here, and then 2 leagues go by. It's like, hey, we've given you this, but didn't we just have that 2 leagues ago? No, don't worry about it. It's like, okay. So as long as that doesn't happen, then fantastic. But that happens a lot.
I mean, in the latest interview that John said that Jonathan, the lead dev, right, said that they don't want to, really touch Magic Find much. They want to keep the gear. At least they said that for PoE2 and maybe I think he mentioned PoE1 as well. So I would be very skeptical about like them doing much about it. I think that the state, the equilibrium, gonna be the same. But I agree. Like as a concept, I think this would be a good idea to like go for the wisp route.
I mean, I like the concept of MF gear, right? Or the concept of I make my character weaker and I get more loot for it, so like as an end game goal and so on. It's just sad that because it replaces so many items that every build looks the same, and you don't have to actually customize your character much.
Ventors.
Yeah.
I've seen
you like shoehorn into the same items in every build.
Yeah.
Do you guys think if they like reintroduced the like rolls on items, like rolling quantity on items themselves with like weights, like really bad weights for best?
Yeah, let us craft mirror tier gloves instead of using Sadimas. That would probably be better.
I mean, that'd be fine. The issue I think would be again if they balance that around the perception that trade would have this, and then it's feel.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine, honestly.
Well, I'm saying if they nerf all loot by 20% because they say, oh, in trade you're going to have an IQ rare on a roll on all your rare gear. That I don't think that'd be fine for most people. They'd be losing 20% of their loot.
Yeah, I didn't really just didn't really want them to nerf loot. Like I think it's just replacing shitty items.
It's too
that
late.
everyone
They heard you
wears.
say it. Now it's happening.
I guess so.
Now we've lost all maps. Now we have to level in the X forever. Back to
don't wanna be
Dry
Lighty.
Lake we go. We gotta scour chance all our gear.
Long term, if they don't want to, remove Magic Wand completely, I think that would be a decent route. Like if let's say the best item that you can roll instead of having a Sadimas would be like, I don't know, 10% better than, like 20% better than Sadimas. Like loot wise, like yield wise, and you can have a bit of life on it. Or
It
like a
has
bit of
10
rest.
quant. If they just had the tier 1 roll on an ID4, or you can make it like ID6 glove, whatever, right? If that was just a 10 quant roll, I think that'd be great, because it's, if you made it like, a suffix, and then it's like, all right, you gotta hunt down that on top of that, whatever, that'd be fantastic. But you would just then
it would just feel
everything
mandatory,
trade.
really. Then.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah. It would see every single fucking glove would have it on.
And it's beside the point, right? The point of MFK is that you make a character weaker by using useless items.
Yeah.
You would actually not really make a character weaker much if you just had to use a single suffix.
Unless you did something wonky where it was like they added quantity as a suffix on all rares, but it occupied all 3 suffix slots.
Or just be a hybrid mod with you deal 10% less damage or something.
Or yeah, something like they'd have to have an implicit drawback.
Or something
like
like
10% less, res, damage, life, whatever, like something.
that, or they could also do like have a rarity as a prefix and like quantity as a suffix, and they roll to like 6% instead of like 10%, let's say.
Yeah.
So you can have like a rare with a bit less quantity, but with.
What if they lock it behind the Affliction mystery box bundle? So you have to purchase
That would be amazing.
I think that's the best. I think that would be the only
The new
suggestion I could maybe
Pass,
get behind. Would be like 10 quant with but it's like a hybrid roll with like 10% less damage. That would be the way to probably introduce it. I think out of like kind of like all of our suggestions. I
really
guess.
make it really offensive, like 10% less accuracy, movement speed, damage. Just start stacking it on.
I think it's just great that this league has the classic playstyle of like choosing maps is back. I feel like for many leagues now we just had the end game was kind of just to farm a mechanic, right? I would farm my hobbies or my best area. Like I just put like 1 or 2 or 3 league mechanics on and farm those for the rewards of those league mechanics. Just the classic spawning a lot of monsters just to get that generic loot kind of playstyle is finally back this league with the wisp choosing. That's been kind of useless or outdated for a while. You know what I mean?
This is the first time since pre 1.0 path I've been exalting maps, which is in itself, I think, very fun. That it's actually like I spend 2 exalts per map, like actually on exalting maps. That's like hasn't happened in literally 11 years of playing path. So for me, that's exciting in itself.
For you, I guess.
Yeah.
For us, it's been a reality every single league.
You've been exalting maps every league?
Carrick maps, yeah.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's fair. That's normal maps, though, not special maps.
The mobs that you're exalting are kind of special, so.
Special. I think you're special.
I am special.
I feel it feels great to just go into a map and you don't even care what mechanics are on there. Like, oh, you do, but you don't do the mechanics because of Abyss loot, right? You just do them because they drop a lot of items. Or you do the Harbingers because they drop items, not because they drop fracture shots.
It's funny, though. The goalpost does get moved where it's like, all right, I've invested 2 exalts in the map. I have 2 winged scarabs. I've got my map. I've got my 2 mortal fragments. The map is 120 quant. And then I find 16 blue wisps. And it's like, fuck me. All right, cool. Shit the bed. Like,
Go again.
That happens a little bit, but...
It still
but the
feels
thrill
better.
of finding, oh man, rock hard. Yeah.
Yeah. The feeling when you finish your wildwood and you look at the numbers and it adds up to like 10,000.
Oh, even if
rock
it's
hard
just
is
like,
exactly how I feel.
3,000 purple is all you need. Like that's if you get that, you're raining uniques from the heavens. Like
yeah, you just have this like what's the word? It's not a thrill. What is the
A
word?
sexual thrill. It's the sexual
You're looking
thrill.
forward, yeah, right? Yeah. The anticipation of all the
I
loot
believe
that's
it's
gonna
called
drop, right?
having fun, Manny. We're having fun
Yeah.
for the first
Having
time in
fun.
our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell them.
I mean, that's what happened when you don't freaking hold to your left mouse button and channel the mechanics standing still for 10 seconds. That's exactly what happens.
Yep.
We are having fun.
You know what? My favorite part of this entire thing is this league is so insane, so rewarding, so much fun, and I bet you it's the only fucking league in the past 3 years that will not get extended to 4 months. We're gonna get a 3-month league. They're gonna be on time out of nowhere. No, that's just serendipitous. That's what's gonna happen. They're for the first
Next
time
channeling
ever.
league is coming up. It's gonna be a 5-month league.
You're gonna have to type in a captcha in the middle of a map, and then scan a QR code to get loot. That's what's gonna be the next step.
Oh no.
I'm gonna get this Rakiatis. Just you wait. It's coming. I can't believe someone asked a question when I was streaming a couple days ago. I think they were asking Garoth in his stream, and he got 4 Mage Bloods, 3 Headhunters, 0 Rakiatis, which is. And I've heard a similar tale for a bunch of people where they're like, yeah, I've got 8 belts and no Rakiatis.
I just found my second one today.
You disgust me.
I found two Rakiatas my first day.
What the
Like
hell?
back-to-back maps in maps. I don't have a mage blood. I'm poor.
I think I have 6 or 7 total T0s now, and 2 of them are Rakiat.
Wow. I gotta uninstall, I guess.
Play the game.
But it's because I played the build. I played the sword. I played the build of it last league. I get rewarded.
I didn't get it last league. I was about to. It's like the last league's meme for me was like, I swear to God, Rakiata would never make it past round 1. No matter what happened, she would just crap out, basically, always. Like, oh, there's Rakiata, and she's gone. Like, every single time. Every time she got to the end, it was just like, oh, 3 divines, 2 divines. Like, that's cool and all, but where's the big paddle, you know? I want it so badly, it's just going to sit in my stash. Kind of like Actum, same thing. Still no
What else
Actum.
is new? How do you guys feel about lab rework?
The
Are
reward
you
structure,
running more
right?
or less lab than before?
More. For me, more. But
None. I'm running
out of necessity, but not out of choice.
Tornado should play a none.
Yeah, none. Well,
I shoot bow.
I'll tell you something funny though. So when I did like my playthrough lab, I got the other, not the Penance of Dissipation or whatever. I got the other one of the other ones, and I was like,
Conduction.
I didn't read, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm all set. I'm not gonna have to do any more lab. And then when I finally spun up the character, it's like, this skill sucks. Like, why isn't it working? And then I actually like read, it's like, no, you need this version. I was like, shit. So then I farmed a couple gifts, and I think I got it on my first gift, so it wasn't too bad, and just played the game.
I like the reward structure, and I like how it's focused on gems for the most part, and I really like how it gives you an option. I think a viable alternative to get quality. It's a little awkward because realistically, if you're farming Cemetery for a day, you have 80 GCP, you're good, like you're more than you'll ever need. But I like that the option's there to, like, if I want a quality, I can. If I want to get more rewards, I can. To me, that wasn't the big problem with lab. Isn't as much the reward structure as just running lab kind of sucks a little bit. You know, it's like it's still just long and clunky and like kind of like detracts from my actual gameplay. But I think it's a step in the right direction reward wise. I just don't know if it's I don't really know why Uber Lab is still so long, kind of, for something that it's intended to be grinded as much as it is. But
I just think that they didn't have time to like touch lab, like improve it a bit. Like since they decided that we want to keep lab, the lab stays. So they probably just gonna do something about it like later down the line. So I think I'm quite hopeful. I actually think that
yeah, I like it. I like it overall.
Like you said about the quality, right? Since they removed the recipe to flip your active gems to 20 quality for free, it actually has a bit of a place now. I feel like, at least
for sure,
in SSF, where you like early league, you run a couple labs to get your 20 quality everywhere. Maybe get your main gem to level 20 quicker. I liked it for that, but
yeah, I was about to say that like in like future leagues, let's say if I would play this league again, like league start this league again, I would just run lab to get like 20 quality on my main gem, because like qualities are really impactful on some of the gems. So
for sure,
I would do that definitely.
Definitely, especially like you just run like 3-4 Merc lab and you have like guaranteed your active is maxed, and then most likely you'll hit something else. So
Yeah, like if you cast the League Star and run a couple extra Merciless Labs, you're so overpowered for a while.
Yeah.
Because your gem level is high.
For sure.
And also, like when you play, let's say, Lightning Arrow, like Lightning Arrow quality is like insane. So like if you're playing Bobo, just get 20 Lightning Arrow and your mapping gonna be so much better, right?
And really, it goes up to 5% on normal lab. You could just spend a half hour and do normal lab at 30, and then just be then off to the races with your 120 lightning arrow or whatever. It's like if you wanted this to take a little bit of time, you could just do it while you're leveling, and it will probably feel quite impactful.
Yeah, I really like the option that we can do that. Like that's the main thing I really like about the lab rework, and that's the word, agency.
Yeah,
I think that's like one of the most important words in all the ARPGs and gaming overall. Like we have a choice. We have a choice what to do.
Agent.
Shut up.
You have a choice not to run lab.
Yeah, I have a choice to not run lab, but if I choose to run lab, I have a choice between getting some gems, getting some quality, and also if I can target uniques, I can have a choice to get some treasure keys, or
you can also
have a choice to get some currency.
You could turn your 2120 gem into 4 trans, if you wanted to, or like 6 alts with the turn gem into currency thing. That totally works perfectly fine.
Or you can be a guy on Reddit and get some mirror.
Mirrors,
yeah. That should be a realistic outcome for
everyone. I walked
right?
so he could run. All right, this is what happens. There's really one funny part. I know it's just a grammatical thing, but it says like when it says sacrifice a gem to get treasured keys, it does say keys plural. And every time I've ever done it, I've only gotten 1 key, and it's like,
sacrifice level 20 gem or
yeah, 2120 corrupted gems, like just extra ones I have that I didn't use.
So I was talking to someone in my chat who said it's actually not bad if you're looking for lab uniques. So you get multiple keys usually. I think he did level 1 Val gems, or level 20 corrupted gems, and he usually got 2 keys or something. And then he said it's pretty good to farm lab uniques with. What would you
be looking for in lab? Just generic uniques, or because you can't
get
it
would be
jewels anymore.
You can't get the Grand Spectrums anymore, but you can get the Emperor jewels from those treasure keys, and you can get.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
You can get lab uniques like Death's Door, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Those still exist.
I forget those all fucking exist, but to be honest. They're okay. There's
like 10 of those lab uniques, right? There's all kinds of shitty uniques that someone might want.
Honestly, they removed like one of the best ones, which was Spine. Spine was like so good for leveling. Had like 60 dot multi on it. They removed it.
What's Spine?
Spine of the first claimant, the mace.
Cold dot.
What do you mean? What do you mean removed it?
They removed it. I think
it's gone.
It's just gone from the game.
They just removed
Crank still.
They added
a couple.
They removed Zara's Thermal as well, the candy bar.
Yep.
And the sword.
That was a while ago, right? Not this year.
Yeah.
I mean, life exists before this league, Manny. I don't know if you remember this, but life goes on.
Yeah, I remember this now. Actually, I remember the jewel being gone. Right, that was actually a useful jewel sometimes.
The candy bar.
It was a little candy bar.
The chocolate.
Old people reminisce.
Yeah.
So for me, lab was a no-go, but heist is a login.
Oh yeah, heist.
I'm having so much fun doing heists. Like maybe I'm still on copium or something, but I've like seeing like actually good rewards at the end, like on almost all of your, like if you run a 4-wing blueprint, like you're gonna probably get a divine or you're gonna get something good, and I don't know, it just definitely feels a lot more rewarding, kind of like sparsed out some of the rewards and stuff. So I've really been enjoying running heists after the rework.
Yeah, I think what you enjoy is running grand heists, sir. I don't think you enjoy running heists, which is to me that's my problem. Which is like what I've been doing, because I pretty much just run 1-wing heists most of the time because I don't have rogue markers. I don't want to do contracts really. Like I'll do Gianna contracts, and I have so many blueprints from MFing compared to rogue markers I have. But I'm just running like 1 to 2-wing heists, so I spend like 2,000 rogue markers per, heist. So like give or take 1,000 per wing, because I just have a surplus of blueprints versus rogue markers. I do not want to do contract. I have to do a little contract, so you have to unveil. But that's the part that I don't like, is like interacting with heist. It's kind of the same vibe with lab, which is like the reward structure way better. but the experience still hasn't improved for the most part. Because to do a heist, I still have to run contracts to get unveils, to then unveil the wings. I have to go to the second guy, assign the people. It's just like a lot of layers of clunk. Like, I agree that
Yes.
Grand Heist rewards are so good. And it's like, okay, you walk in a wing, and I didn't get the whatever I wanted or something new. But I still get 20 scours, 20 chaos, whatever. It's like, that's the little door prize, that's the secondary reward. That makes it feel like it's worth running. So I love that part of it. I love that the homogenized loot, I think on average, has probably drastically increased the curio case replacement uniques, from my experience at least. I've gotten way more, like, Faded End, Fulcrum, those sort of things I see much more frequently than previous, which is, I think, a byproduct of them just not being wing-gated anymore, since it's all homogenized. So I like seeing that. Experimental bases seem pretty okay. The smart rolled rares are as insane as they've always been. Kind of tapers off at this point of the game, but like early in League, those are like some of the best rares you can get still. Like, just a body armor that rolls with like 140 res and 120 life. That's 6. Like, that's like a gift. You get those, and they're so.
I think heist is much more attractive as like a mechanic you would actually do on League start. Just as a
yeah.
first thing you put on your atlas, you just pick heist nodes and just do it right away.
Yeah,
I think it's more attractive for that for sure.
I agree.
Yep, pretty much the same feeling. Simplified to, the
hunting those
reward structure.
base types though.
Yeah.
This hunting the amulets, the bells, the rings. They're so rare.
Yeah,
but I guess it's deserved because they're very strong.
Yeah, I've seen a couple rings, like the Geo rings, like those sort, and I have 2 micro distilleries, and I think that was beyond a blessing to get. And an amulet just seems like it's not out of reach, but don't count on it at any point in time.
The thing is, you're gonna run heist for 2 weeks, and then you finally see an amulet, and it's the Astrolabe amulet.
I got that.
That exists.
Yeah, I got that.
You got that?
Astrolabe
Oh,
is so
no.
sad.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think I did probably around like 800 wings in League, and then probably around 400 leagues in Standard, looking for Congors, and since League started, and still no Simplex or the inverse of that, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Duplex.
The focused amulet.
Focus.
Simplex and duplex.
Simplex and duplex.
I've probably got like 200 to 300 wings, and I've found I found the replica fragility on day 2, which I skipped because it was that or a fulcrum, and I was like, I want to pick the fulcrum because I know that this is going to be something I play, and if I don't pick this, I'm probably never going to see it again this League. So, and then the jewels do seem fairly common because I've seen the replica pacifism now a couple times. But aside from that, it's been nothing too impressive. No new stuff. Have you guys found all your heist uniques from the new stuff?
I've done around 600 wings, and I'm missing badge at least. What else is there?
Hyres, Hinakoras, Covenant, the
Covenant
3 jewels.
and Hyres.
I think Covenant and Hyres are
Heat
both
Shiver.
pretty rare, right? I think
Yeah.
I found them
Yeah.
only once. Heat Shiver is
Then-
common.
Yeah, Witchfire Brew. Which
Oh, yeah,
isn't
Witchfire.
That's
rare,
also
but-
common.
Do you think this is an interesting question that I don't know the answer to? Do you think there
Yes.
with the yes? All right.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
it, guys. Stream's over. Okay. Do you think that with the change there was a rarity restructure
No.
locked behind item levels? You don't think so? I can't tell what answers are real now. I don't know what's
Wait.
happening.
Well, what is the question? Even?
Okay, the question
I didn't get
is,
it.
so if I run an I-83 Grand Heist or I run an I-68 Grand Heist, is there a rarity difference between finding replicas? I know that I think Simplex is locked behind some level or something, but like, do you think that you're more likely to find a rare replica in a higher level thing? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
Some
no.
of them might be
I'm-
locked, but as soon as they're unlocked, they should drop at the full rate, I would say.
I
But hard
agree.
to say, right?
I've had a similar. I've ran a level 50 blueprint that had like 2 replica Alberons back to back, like things like, and I've had most of my 83s have been shit, so I haven't seen any difference. That's why I was just curious if you guys did.
I haven't really done any very low level ones. I've done, just a couple of dropped in acts. I did 1 wing, so nothing dropped in, and
Same,
did the
yeah.
high level ones. But yeah, heist can be as dull as ever when, like, sure, early on you like the 20 chaos and the 20 scour rewards, but when those become irrelevant, you just oftentimes just run 50 wings in a row without picking up anything. It's just, chaos and 5
Get
shitty
stack decks,
replicas.
baby. Stack decks.
You do get a lot of divines though, actually, though. I think I had something like 2 raw divines per hour just running through highest blueprints.
What's the biggest
Which in
divine
this league
stack
doesn't
you've
sound
seen?
much, but if this was any other league, and I would say someone would tell me I get 2 pure divines per hour, I would farm that in SSF for my craft for sure. But,
I had a stack of 5 divines. That was the highest I've seen from a heist wing.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
really?
it goes up to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got 5 Exalt, but just 1 Divine.
And I
I've
saw
got a stack of
one
Sacred
winged
Orb.
scarab. I saw that once.
Sacred Orb?
I haven't seen a
Yeah, I got
sacred
a
from
Sacred
that. I've seen one time I saw a winged scarab. That was it. But there's a lot more tailoring, and tempering orbs.
The Deliops are gone, right? Deliops used to be there, but they're gone completely.
Yes.
I haven't seen them. Yeah,
Yes, they are gone. Yeah.
that's sad. I would take those.
What's really nice in heist is catalysts.
Yeah, 'cause
You don't want to
yeah.
farm
fuck
ultimatum in
ultimatum.
its current state, yeah.
Dude, come on.
I know.
I got dozens of catalysts of each from it.
And then you
Delete
just
the
harvest
heisting.
swap them. So it's like, that's what
Yeah.
I've been doing at least. Yeah.
You're kind of set, yeah.
Oh,
get-
yeah, I forgot about that.
You get-
I just been 3 to 1ing them.
Oh Jesus.
Apparently there was a hidden restructuring of catalyst rarities too. Apparently life is now rare again. Because it used to be kind of
I've had
common,
the opposite
right?
actually. No, I re-rolled probably a couple hundred stacks of catalyst this league, looking for certain things.
Okay.
And life has been very common. Res has been very, very rare for me.
Yeah, res
So
is the
resistance
really
has
rare
been
one
like
now.
super rare for me.
Well, we had speed and crit that they added later, right? And those were
I don't see speed
by
very
far the
often, I don't
rarest,
crit, but yeah,
but I actually have a lot of them now.
Same.
Like
I don't know.
10 times
I
more than
think-
usual.
I think what changed was they can just drop not from like random sources, right? Like if you want to do heist, like you can actually drop them because like before it was just really rare and only from Metamorph, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
could
the
be.
change. But like, yeah, I think you were right that they fiddled a bit with
I'm
like
sure they
first
fiddled.
catalyst being the rares.
I like the fiddle. Have you have you guys missed heist or missed Metamorph at all since it's been removed? Like any part of
I
it?
mean, I think Ultimatum is worse than Metamorph, so
Yeah, they both
honestly,
kind of
yeah.
don't matter.
Do you know what I do? I love having Fury Valve in the base game. That is very exciting because I really enjoy that unique.
True.
And on Power Siphon especially, it is crazy. Like, feels so good.
Astral Projector being global is also kind of nice.
Yeah, I found a couple of those.
I don't know if it matters this league, but sometimes those skills are meta that use it, and then
Shockwave is still
a lot
really
of
good
people-
for Sanctum if you're doing Sanctum, like the Shockwave Totem builds. And those builds that could just like basically turn corners, But
yeah,
it's just one of those things that if you'd rather have it than not need it, though, especially is like because if someone said go get an Astral Projector, that'd be a little bit annoying. But yeah, I don't really miss doing Metamorph. I don't think it's about.
I
as
miss
ultimatum.
Tain's Lab to open my stack decks. I now have to do an
God,
Einhard
yes.
Menagerie. It
So
feels
that's where you've been
wrong.
doing it. I've got a worse spot. I do it in Merc Lab.
There's no stash there.
I know. I just go because
It's so
my filter's so strict for cards. I just leave everything on the ground.
Don't those zones reset too in like 5
Yep.
seconds, like 15
If you,
seconds?
if
so
you
if you
leave,
get
it's
like,
gone. Yeah, or crash,
Oh,
it's
no.
all gone. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a thrill.
Oh shit! I should have
the thrill
picked
of
up
the
the
gamble.
doctor.
What a
Wow.
madman.
You'd have to get Doctor first, all right?
True.
Actually, that's a good thing. I haven't gotten a single card this league worth gambling. Basically, like at one point I had like 50,000 yellow juice, and I was just like, I don't even know what to do with this because nothing to gamble.
Yeah, quite the opposite here. My stack deck RNG was so good. I was starting to believe they must have buffed them.
Oh
I
boy.
just said Tink
Yep.
of the Tink.
Yep.
3 Doctors, House of Mirrors, Quiet card, Nimbus card. It
Nothing.
just kept dropping.
Absolutely nothing on my end. It's always interesting. So like we all put more hours into Path than any human should. On but like we have such varied experiences with our outcomes of very similar occurrences. Like we
Yeah,
could all open 1,000
good.
stack decks and have a totally different experience. Well, you say it's good because you're the guy having the good experience.
no, I mean it's good when leagues feel different, like,
Yes, yeah, that I agree with.
when RNG can make the journey of a league very different.
Yeah. It has been quite the journey. So have we all done like, whatever MFing we've talked about a little bit? What versions of MFing are we all doing? Because I'm currently pretty much just doing like Max Abyss and Tier 9 Iceberg. Yeah. Which is just, I mean, there's a couple of variations of it. The one I'm doing is like 7th Gate, you put on Abyss, you put on Gilded Abyss Scarab, Gilded Reliquary Scarab. I think of Wandering Path, every amount of Quant and map effect on the tree. And then you're just trying to get 4 Abysses to spawn, make sure the spires get a bunch of rares. Roll your maps with plus projectiles, Exalt for 2 more mods or whatever the max mods are. And then, just have to gently touch a spire and hope you don't one-shot it. So it spawns a bunch of rares.
I've started to also val the maps afterwards to hit some un-ID'd plus extra approach maps. And then, because un-ID'd pack size Sexton would give you more wisps, right? Because then monsters will spawn in the forest. It's extremely powerful. So that would be nice to hit sometimes. I've also
how have you been rolling
recently
maps,
moved to tier 16 maps.
Okay.
For and I gotta say the Sexton numbers, it's crazy. I had 0 Sextons yesterday. We rolled them all, and I'm 4 digits already again.
That's
like
nuts.
The Sextons. I think I'm actually gonna sustain Abyss Sexton and Beyond Sexton. They're all gonna.
Have you found the Abyss depth being a problem to spot the spire?
No, not at
depth?
all. You see it once every 10 to 15 maps. You lose one
Abyss.
Abyss to it.
That's strange that you're so like, for example, if you were trying to get bosses, you're doing everything.
Then you would pick up the passive tree nodes to make the bosses like twice as likely.
You mean the what, like the ones? Where is it? Oh, like the Inspired Darkness, Awakened Depths, the one above.
Yeah, there's like this one wheel that makes the boss more likely, right?
Yeah, but even the boss Gilded also does that though. Like the Gilded
the boss does not do that. The Gilded guarantees a spire, but doesn't make the depths more likely at all.
Okay, so you're saying the base depth rate is so shit that when you have the guarantees or the more spire chance, it's still like not very common to get the bosses. But even it's not in the first occurrence though, right? Like it's not.
You know how they reworked it, right? Abyssal depths are now always a boss,
correct?
But they're very rare.
Yeah.
So all the old abyssal depths that used to be no boss are just gone now. So you have very few depths, and you can only have 1 depth per map, of course.
Yes.
So at most you lose 1 abyss, and it happens very rarely.
Is it the first travel, or is it any point from the 1st to 4th travel to get a boss? Like when the abyss is moving.
It used to be only the first, stop can be the depths, right? That used to be how it works. I'm not sure if that's still true.
No, I don't think so. I think it's the last one. So it's like instead of spire, you get a depths. You have to always.
So you're still getting a lot of the bang for your buck on that. If you had an abyss that went to the depths, it's also like not bad to do an abyss boss every now and again. Could get something, get a little 100% built.
Could be fun to make an abyss build.
Yeah, that is true. Light Poacher is very, very good. Also, I feel like it's gotten, especially with returning proj, it feels really cool looking to like.
There's still this Light Poacher thing where you can link Archmage into the helmet, right?
Yep.
And then the skill will cost so much mana that it will never proc.
Correct.
And then you never lose these stacks.
Yeah.
And then you just get the extra damage from those stacks permanently.
Which is a very fun
intended
mechanic that will not get changed.
Well, it's been in for a while now. Apparently it's fine.
So out of all the reworks that GG done, I think only like 2 duds, like real duds. I mean, I guess not real duds, but like kind of duds are just Breach and Ultimatum, I guess, right?
I don't mind.
I think all the other
compared to Ultimatum, Breach I think is way better. But like if you were to I don't think they're on the same playing field, Breach and Ultimatum, as far as like.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Breach is still okay. Like I think it's more important to have a build that could really, I think you really need explosions, you really need a crazy clear to capitalize on it. But I feel like Breach is okay, but I don't think Ultimatum feels okay. To me, that there's one's C tier and one's F tier.
I mean, if you exclude the rewards, I feel like the Ultimatum implementation is really nice. I like the passives they added, where you have some variety of going for the extremely hard 13 wave or trying to hunt bosses. Generally, I feel like the implementation is pretty good. It's just that the rewards are just not good, right? That's the only thing that people complain about.
To be fair, that's half the game, though.
Yeah, well, sure, of course. I'm just
I
saying,
feel
like,
like
they implemented it pretty well, apart from the rewards. Sorry,
I
go
feel like
ahead.
there were no. I just saying I feel like the rewards probably are even getting further overshadowed with the rewards of a T7 cemetery this league too. Maybe
Yeah, that's true.
100%. Yeah.
like our expectations are so high.
It'll feel better
Or
by
not.
if they do like 2 minor changes, and then it'll just feel so much better by proxy next league. If you have like a I don't say a dud league, but they've got a big shoes to fill in 3 months.
Yeah, I guess I see that now because like Ultimate is almost there when it comes to rewards. Like they do like little tweaks and it should be fine, right? But like I never liked Ultimatum personally, like as a mechanic itself. Like I know that there's a lot of people that loved it, but I was not very thrilled for it coming back. But yeah, maybe I'm changing my mind a bit because like I was trying to pick your guys' mind. Like, how do you feel about GG? Like
I would feel
vibes.
a lot better as far as the reward structure if you couldn't just get catalysts from Heist and change them with Harvest. Like if I was kind of forced to do it, I would probably learn to love it, but I'm not forced to do it, so I definitely don't love it. And to me it just gives me very similar vibes to Ritual, and I would much rather run Ritual than run Ultimatum. Like if I'm running in a circle, then interacting with a thing to get loot, I would rather do that in a Ritual than do it in an Ultimatum.
I mean,
Well,
one
and
thing
the other-
Ultimatum rewards do, there's a lot of corrupted uniques in there, and corrupted rares too, right? That's kind of a bit of the theme, is that it gives corrupted items as a reward. And that fits
Sure.
really well into the whole theme. They're just not powerful enough.
That's kind of where I say like Ritual is like, I mean, you're also getting Synthesis, Fractured, or Smart, like those sort of rolled rares, but instead of having to wait 10 13 waves to pick the good thing, I could just look at the Ritual window and pick the good thing, or I could say, oh, there's no good thing, I don't have to, whatever. Like also if you die in an Ultimatum, you lose everything. There's no loot from the mobs. If you die in a Ritual, you still have the other 3 rituals worth of juice to purchase something. Like if I'm comparing it to something like that, to me it doesn't even come close. Where it's, maybe if the mobs gave a ton of experience, or they drop something, but they literally don't have loot, which is a weird decision. Like I don't get that personally. So it's hard to say.
Yeah. It would make sense if it wasn't affected by map mods as well then, right? If the
Sure,
monsters don't
yeah.
drop any loot, so they don't get buffed by like map quantity and wisps and so on, then they should also not be buffed by map mods. So they can still run Arc maps. But now when you farm Ultimatum, you're best off doing scoured maps, because there's no point making the maps harder. Ultimatum just gets harder for no upside.
Actually,
That's a bit awkward.
when you it's a good question I was gonna have, which was when you are farming King of the Mist, right? The Wildwood definitely has the map mods. You can see that obviously because if you get Conk Ground on the map, you have Conk Ground on the Wildwood. You can see it.
Yeah, of
Does
course.
the King of the Mist, when you go in that instance, that's a different instance that doesn't share the map mods, right?
All right.
Yeah, it has no
Yes.
map mods.
Okay, so then it doesn't matter. You could juice a map to the 9s, and then you can go do King of the Mist, and it's always the same T16 King of the Mist.
Correct.
Correct.
When you're dying to the King of the Mist, it's not because you rolled the map too
It's
hard.
because you're a shitter. Yeah. Well,
I was
so
just gonna
That
say,
fight is garbage.
I will say that
how do you
there's
feel about that fight?
So there's a really important thing that I think makes that okay, which is if you died at King of the Mist and you dropped a portal outside, you could just swap characters and go back in. Which I think.
Really?
So if you drop
Really?
a portal outside the spooky portal, right, for the fight, and you die at
Yeah.
King of the Mist, if you character swap when you walk back in, you go in the portal right outside the crux. And you could just try a different character.
Really?
I see.
Unless they've patched it. As of
Really?
last week, I did it a couple days ago. You could do it in trade with other players also. So that's
It'd be
not
nice
that
to
I would
know
ever die.
when I failed it a couple
Yeah.
times at the start of the league.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, me too. At the start of the league, definitely not recently.
Yeah.
I guess the fight is a lot of damage over time, huh? But I feel like the boss has no health. He's so easy to kill.
No, yeah. I mean,
He
if
dies
you
so
just
quickly.
if you sit on the purple or red splooge on the ground, you're probably dead within a couple seconds. But
I got Lucky
Just
League
mo-
starting a big region build.
I will say, my first interaction. So someone, I don't know who it was, asked initially, "How was your first interaction with the fight or whatever?" My first time I saw him, I saw the 3 dark totem things in the darkness where I couldn't reach them. That was my first time seeing it, and I literally couldn't even get to the fight. That felt bad. And then the first time I did it, he said, "Don't move," and I stupidly listened to him when I should have just moved, because I don't. It's which is so. My biggest complaint is like you've got a boss that tells you to not move, and we're supposed to listen to him. When we just had a boss,
supposed? He's your enemy. Why would you listen to your enemy?
Well, but you're not supposed to move because otherwise you get trapped.
I mean, Maven says stand still.
That's my
You're
point.
not supposed to stand still and die to her.
Except for King of the Mist, you are supposed to listen to him. That's how the debuffs work. If you don't, you take a massive amount of damage, or you get an 8-second imprisonment. So
yeah, like
it's
you're supposed to not move. Well, you're still supposed to move, but very wisely, right?
No,
like
but
only
you
move when you really have to.
You get the debuff that locks you in place if you were to move too much. When he says don't move, he's not lying to you. You're not supposed to be running around.
But you're not supposed to stand still and just die either. If there's something like really hitting you right now.
Yeah, well, I realized that after the first fight. I'm saying because I read also trying to I'm in the middle of a fight and trying to hover in the top left and read debuffs. What a time, you know.
Also,
really,
that's classic
would be
theory.
nice. Yeah, it would be nice to see what he's doing because there's like purple on
you don't
gray
like purple
on
on red on purple on red on purple on red.
Imagine if we had some kind of like
so
delirium, yeah,
like a bestiary or something where you could just check the abilities of the boss and read all the debuffs.
Like a WoW style boss info page.
Is there such a thing in WoW? I don't know, but
yeah, it is.
would be awesome to have one.
Dungeon journal.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
All the mechanics and numbers.
It just seems like Path is so desperate for that sort of informative quality of life where it's like, at the very least, just knowing what a boss's ability does. We don't have to know like the details per se, but like just give us a description.
Yeah, pretty much anything you would see in game, like hovering over that debuff.
Yeah,
I think someone on Reddit like in the last week wrote up like every possible ailment debuff in the game and like put links to kind of what they are. I know it's different than what we're talking about right this second.
I'm sure that's fantastic, but that should be in game. Like that should be in game.
I want to tell a funny story about debuffs. That what happened to me yesterday when I was magic finding. I was running a delirious, super juice map and so on. 50 beyond rares are sitting on me, hurting me, and I had like 18 debuffs on me. And what happened is I couldn't move at all. My character was unable to move because there's a delirious debuff apparently that reduces your action speed.
Yep.
It doesn't say so; it just says you get slowed.
Yep.
But apparently it reduces action speed, not to 0, but quite a lot.
99%.
And I happened to use an Elder Scarab in that map. So an Elder monster flew around, and it does an aura that also slows your action speed, additively stacking with the delirium action speed slow. So my action speed was less than 0, and I was literally hard stuck there, but I couldn't die because I was tanky, right? So I had 50 monsters just sitting on me. I was unable to move, but also unable to die. I was just stuck. I couldn't do anything.
There's about like 20 debuffs in the game now that are introduced through a variety of mechanics. It's a slow, but it's not because we've changed something ever so slightly. It's like zombie tar, or we have delirium goop, and they're all the same thing. They're just reworded so we can't become immune to it or prevent it. And it's like a lot of them interact in very strange ways, and I've had that same thing happen to me where you just get hard locked, where it's like old temp chains, and I'm moving at 99% reduced action speed with like whatever happening.
Another interesting interaction is like when you do feared invitation, or like just I guess it's only feared invitation because there is the Cortex boss has action speed slow.
Yep.
And then Elder has action speed slow, so they also can make you prevent moving completely, right? So it's pretty weird that like those action speed slows stack additively.
Yeah, they should be less, right? They should just be multiplicative of each other. You shouldn't be allowed to reach 0 action speed and be unable to move. Like, that's just kind of stupid, in my opinion.
Call the cops. I'm calling the cops right now.
I mean, we found the tech to counter what happened in my map. I just need to have Chaos Roots in my inventory and swap those in whenever I get slow to 0. Because it happened many times, not just once.
Really quickly.
I've had I think 4 or 5 times this league. I've had the Abyss Spire shoot out like the 6 portals and like 3 salvos all at once, and on my character, and I get literally locked in and I have to relog because I cannot move.
That's when you use Flame Dash.
I'm using Whirling Blades because I'm playing Mamba, so I'm just
But
trapped in there in hell.
That's why you always have a Flame Bash on every build.
I can't. I have to have my boots and my gloves with no stuff in my sockets.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm trying to play Path over here. A real gentleman's game.
Yeah, that Abyss thing is definitely gonna get fixed though. Like it's just so.
Well, it only gets fixed if wisps become core.
No, it's just the fact that the multi-proj works on Spires. That is definitely not intended, right? It's just it
like that the whole
completely
time.
fucks up the game too because I mean the whole time has been what 2 leagues now.
Yeah,
and it was just flying under the radar. But it's definitely not intended. I'm 100% sure because it's just way too laggy. The game can't even handle it. There's literally so many monsters in the same screen. It's not supposed to be existing, I think.
Did you see there was like the people that created private leagues,
yeah,
and turned on +2 proj to be able to just get like
man, that really
crazy
feels like fucking fun detected. The police have called. Who gives a shit what someone else is doing in a private league? Like, I understand you could migrate to trade, but you could have just easily let people have fun and then just make it so the leagues couldn't migrate. Like, there's things that was the only route that could have been taken that prevent people from enjoying that though.
That just instantly respond to any pay to win thing though. Even though it definitely wouldn't be pay to win, I don't even think it does anything because if you roll your maps for extra proj, you kind of reach like the cap anyway, right?
Yes.
Like you can't. There's no space anymore to spawn more in a purple map with a plus proj. I'm pretty sure the private league was just a huge meme in the end, but just a lot of people didn't know about that, and they would just repeat that it's OP and pay to win, and they had to step in.
Yeah.
I just, it feels like that's one of the things where they step in with expeditious haste, but there's problems exist elsewhere in the game that have gone unchecked for years,
I mean, like people are crashing every Nanette heist, some people. Every time Nanette is in there, they crash.
EU servers are just falling apart for the first 2 weeks. That doesn't get addressed expeditiously, but Lord, if the private league players get 2 proj, break out the fire alarm.
There's this alternative node on Primalist where instead of picking up the last charm, you could get this Warcry node.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, and then if you Warcry after every single map boss, sometimes you would get an extra boss map.
I mean, nerf that.
Right, and that got fixed within 10 hours of me knowing about it at least.
To be fair, I don't think it was fixed because of that. It was fixed because you were able to shake harvest monsters for double juice.
Yeah, only there's harvest monsters in the forest, and it only would happen sometimes, right? It's definitely not guaranteed.
But that's to me, that's again, that's like fun detected. Like, who gives a shit? Like, what do you even? This is such a minor thing. Like, maybe 1% of players have the node anyway.
It was the only actual use of that Warcry node, right?
Yeah.
Because if you from every other monsters, it would only drop like a white item or like a stack of portal scrolls if you're really lucky. I think that was the best thing I dropped, a stack of portal scrolls in like 6 hours of trying it. But the harvest thing was actually useful there, so it got instantly fixed. It was weird.
Not a fan of that decision making.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to open chests with Warcry, to be honest. There's this one forest encounter where there's like 12 cocoons. You just stand in the middle and you Warcry once and all the loot pops out. That was satisfying.
Yeah, it's something. The cocoons are very nice, but that's like one of those things that really great on week 1, and then you realize that you could have had, a pack of juice there, and then now it's like feels bad to get it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's cool and all, but where's my juice?
Yeah, I love cocoons. They drop certain uniques, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, so that's we could talk about that. So we've all been MFing, and I'm sure we'll, if we do this for 2 months, we'll probably get every T0 in the game. Probably every base unique in the game we'll see twice. But Legi has received a Calandra's touch. I'm gonna say it might be RMT. I'm not sure. It was still suspicious.
Dude, it was the most surreal thing that happened to me in PoE for years. Like, I was trying to MF for Calandra's since it was introduced, and nothing happened. I didn't get drop shit. I was hardcore MFing, Kirak mobs, and this league. Nope, not happening. And I was kind of salty that that this league kind of valued the worth of all the uniques. Like if you want to get a unique like the legit way, right, without the wisp cheesing, let's call it that way. But it's obviously like whatever, right? It doesn't matter. But like it kind of matters for me, like just that principle. But like out of all things, I just open a random Alva Temple and I drop the Calandra Studge from a Poison Room thing that you step on, right? You step on those things that Poison Room spawns, and like sometimes drop like 2 white items, and that thing just drops the Calandras. It's like absolutely surreal. It's so funny.
Yeah, he's a gamer. It's official.
Yeah, I guess you're gonna value that room a lot more now.
I always love it. I think that room is like the best room in Alva Temple because it just spawns so many
True.
monsters. Actually, so it's very good. I mean, you can really notice that when you have a Inspired Learning or Headhunter. Like you get so many buffs.
I haven't touched Incursion
that room
in
is
so long.
about as underrated as Barrel Sexton is.
Barrel
That's my
Sexton
favorite
OP.
underrated Sexton. Or underrated thing.
I do want to farm out an Endor in this league. I don't know how annoying that's going to be, but
Well, just getting one shouldn't be hard, right? But a good
well,
roll.
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Getting one that's not a 51%er. So for those who they introduced a jewel called the Adorn that took the spot of what was Tower of Ordeals for Trial Master. So it's Adziri, Incursion, Delve, Architect, and then the trio boss from Val Temple. They all drop a fragment. I think they're just called Val fragments now instead of Ultimatum fragments or something. But
Yeah, I think so.
you get a jewel that's really fucking good, and it rolls corrupted 50 to 100. Oh, thank you. What is this? You've shown me beauty. Oh, is this all of them? No, this is just 2 of them. Go get the other 2 and come back. Go get one during the podcast right now, so we can show it off. The jewel rolls 50 to 150%. Was it increased effect of the modifiers for corrupted magic jewels, right? And
I think so, yeah.
That affects the implicits, but it affects obviously the rolls. So you can get some like really wild stuff like life or mana reservation with like specific implicits or synth implicits, rolling multiple of them, damage modifiers, and they just become super duper high value. But the part that's annoying is obviously it's 50 to 150% on a corrupted item that takes some decent time to get one of. So in Trade League, I don't remember the exact pricing. I know the 150s were like atrociously expensive. So it kind of is like it's like getting a low passive voices type thing where you can get one, but like if you get a 7 passive voices, it kind of doesn't. Who wants that? Getting a 51% adored is like whatever. But I really like that they added these things.
Using them.
Yeah, I don't think it is either.
You want to use blue jewels just to 50% increased effect.
Yeah. They're like super, super strong though. Like the build that
it's a cool concept. Having to roll perfect blue jewels and then ideally varling them too, so you have to roll like dozens of them. How would you do that though? Is it alt spamming time?
Yeah, depends what you want, I guess. But yeah, probably.
Definitely got enough.
Funny thing is, it's the end game of MFing in Trade League, right? Actually, people use Adorn with rarity jewels to buff them up. You get like 12 rarity per jewel.
3/1 passive voices, and then you slap those bad boys in there. Very cool.
And I gotta say, just stacking rarity, I'm not sure if we'll ever get to that point outside of Trade League. Because you have to be so strong for these Magic Find maps with like 10,000 wisps sometimes.
That's a good question, actually. So we're all doing some level of magic finding. How many of us are actually using any sort of MFing gear? And if so, what gear are we using? Because right now I'm running literally nothing, and I've like I don't even have like Ventors on. I got nothing. Like, I think I have 9% rarity on my gloves. Like that's it. And it's like I've seen other people who are using MF gear. I'm sure there is a market difference, but like I don't feel like it's a problem at all.
I think people definitely overrate how good MF gear is. They think this league is like only good with MF. It's just really fucking good already by default.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's maps I have that if I pushed Alt, I'd crash my game. Like, if the abysses stack up. So easily, like with my MF filter now is pretty much only showing like 10 uniques, and then everything else is just currency. And it's like still, you'll kill a pack and you'll see 10, 15 leather belts, heavy belts, and it's like no
Yeah,
MF gear on.
I started hiding GCPs and Val ops and stuff like that today, and it still takes me 10 minutes to loot a map.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah.
I'm running a decent amount of Magic Find right now in tier 16. I think it's 37 quant and like 250 rarity. When I did the tier 7 maps before, I was running almost double that.
So like Biscos, Ventors, Sedimas, Goldworm, that sort of stuff.
It's 2 Ventors and Goldworms and a big rarity rare crafted helmet. The helmet has like 100 rarity.
The Parandus helm craft, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's a prefix rarity, suffix rarity that is up to 50%, and the rarity craft is up to 45. So it's a 95 rarity helmet, I suppose.
Don't even have the
And a big rarity flask.
no veiled craft. You couldn't spring for the 60% veiled rarity.
I mean, that's the end game goal, right? Fracture the 60%.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure Legi's working on it already.
Nah, I gave up. I tried once, I missed, and I'm just using the crafted one. I had a really nice one. So I mean, I guess Lighty can pretty much check my profile and Manni's profile, because I think we both have our characters ready. I mean, I'll link you mine so you can like show what
Checking
I'm using.
your OnlyFans. What am I looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think mine's actually up open right now too. So if you want to pull it up, you're welcome to. I was doing the T7 cemetery juice forever and didn't drop belts. I flipped to apothecaries. They both went to 0. So I'm just doing the old school patient farming. I started today. I think I'm up to like 50 patients right now. So
It's
I'm just gonna do that. I'm a
512,
headhunter.
518. What is the amount you need?
Yeah,
512.
512.
Yeah, so I mean, if that at this rate to do it in like 10 days and still have like do other league stuff, and so I'm doing whatever gear I can do right now. It's fine for T16 colonies with like boxes and stuff.
Yeah. My plan was to farm the tier 7 maps until one of the 2 belts would drop.
Same.
But honestly, in hindsight now, I think I should have done tier 16s or tier 14s at least as soon as possible, even without MF gear. Just run them on a strong character. Because the extra value from having influence monsters and altars to duplicate currency and give extra quant, and Valdo's puzzle boxes and sextants most importantly, and also Eldritch currency. Oh man, I found Eldritch Chaos and Eldritch Annul so many times. There's so many advantages of doing tier 14 plus. I think I would prefer to do tier 14 maps without any magic find than tier 7s at this point, if I would do it again.
Yep.
But yeah, they're hard. They're very, very hard.
Yeah. I'll probably be starting tier 16 MFing today, actually.
Yeah, I think without Headhunter is like really hard to do 16s unless like with MF gear, that is. Like you
need a specific like immortal kind of Pathfinder build to do it.
Yeah.
And you don't need a Headhunter.
Hey, that's what I have built.
Yeah, just a...
Pretty much what I'll be doing, yeah. As a Pathfinder, like, micro belt, full uptime of all the elemental flasks, 100% fizz conversion,
yeah,
all
that's
the bells
good.
and whistles.
Defiance of Destiny is your lifesaver against the Abyss, because you got hit 1,000,000 times per second.
I don't have that yet, but I have not had any issues, and I just hit RT on my Rebuke of the Veil, so I was able to. I have a Flesh and Flame, or Flesh and Flame, sorry, but yeah, Flesh and Flame. No, Flesh and Stone. There we go. So I've got Blind now, which feels really nice. Also, there's like so many layers of defense though in Pathfinder. People always ask like, what's the best ascendancy in the game, and I really, really love Deadeye and Occultist, but I feel like Pathfinder is like kind of just insane still. Like,
yeah, this league Pathfinder
all
is
the
great.
bells and whistles.
More so than normally. Like, it's always been good, but this league I prefer the tanky ascendancies as well over playing something like Deadeye.
Yeah, I think Deadeye is not the choice unless you have like a mirror tier gear in for MFing. I think
it's the fun
like
choice.
It's not it.
Move fast, shoot more things, more projectiles, go bounce off stuff. But
gotta kill things fast.
I always tell people that like you can't MF if you're dead. So that's like at the end of the day, dead men don't do damage.
Yeah,
we linked you the characters slightly.
Yep, I'll pull them up. I gotta kill Melody.
Yeah, there's like so many different ways of approaching the game. Like the MFing or like getting loot from wisps. Like a lot of people in the hardcore, let's say, just like strong characters and just do 16s and they still drop a lot of stuff. And we can push the boundaries a bit. So like, even if you don't have the Giga gear, don't have Headhunter, you could just start doing it. It's very like counterintuitive for all of you. I think like a lot of people think like you need this, you need that, you need all the MF gear. Just slap in a Reliquary and Abyss Scarab and then just go in, and then you'll get your MF gear on the way.
Yeah, a lot of the Bisco's belt's really strong. Rampage really helps for clear also if you're like struggling, and you'll have. It's pretty easy to get decent Ventors this league, especially because they're dropping like 20 a map. If you grow crazy juice, so getting that sort of stuff is definitely accessible. And once you the ball just starts rolling. I've been like using Harvest the entire league, so I have like a stockpile of many scarabs. But that's like easy in SSF currently to. Anytime you get a rare that you hit and drops, 30 gilded, 10 winged scarabs, like over the course of the next 10 maps, you just turn them all into Abyss and Reliquary, So there's a lot of ways to do that sort of stuff.
The juicing is so good even without magic finding. The amount of scarabs you get, the fractured items you get, the occasional map explosion that gives you like 100 maps. It's just fun.
It's good.
Yeah, this is just a kind of standard. I made it actually tanky, which is surprising how it turned out to be, but it's working at least.
Mm-hmm. Is this a natural thing? Yes. Oh, ancestral vision. Coffee. I'm out of coffee. The day is done.
Oh no.
What
maps did you run with this build, Legi? Is this 16s or 7s?
I did 16s, and I did like one mob that was very like wisps. I have like 8k wisp, and I was like, it's pretty annoying when you get a proxy shield mob with especially with Alex Cannon dies. Like I don't have Awaken Chain or a Fork, so it's kind of annoying. So yeah, it's like laggy and it's kind of hard to kill as well on top of that, right? So it's I don't think it's the play, honestly. Like Pathfinder is just comfier.
Can you give
you actually have to play the game?
Can you give the 60-second TED talk on distillation distillate and how you make it work?
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is it's very easy actually, because the reservation kind of clicks into place. You do arrogance, precision, vitality, defiance betterment. Like you reserve like around, I think 40 something percent life, right? It's just gonna be 40. I think 44% reserve. So you have like 6% buffer. So you kind of wasting, right? And you just that's enough, right? And you just put around Petrified Blood, and that's about it. And you need to have a Blood Rage to degen, right? So what you want to do is you always want to be degenning to 50%, which you do with Blood Rage or like just maps that they are like low regen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it, yeah. And also I've been using a really OP charm that I've been informed about with Divination Distillate. Like it's actually so insane. It's the gain adrenaline when you reach low life, because you kind of constantly reach low life and like fall down and up.
So
it's pretty much perma adrenaline for your Deadeye with Petrified Blood.
Yep.
Oh, does it not have this? You cannot gain it again when you already have it.
Nope.
I mean, yes, it does have. No, it does have it. So, but you reach it all the time anyway, because like that's how it works. Like there's like
instantly
half a second downtime in most cases.
There's no like real internal cooldown on it. No.
Like you can always get it when you don't have adrenaline, that is, and you meet the conditions. I mean, adrenaline is busted, right? It's PDR, right? And I'm kind of stacking damage taken and PDR, the kind of Pathfinder style, but with armor on top of that. Like I managed to like just get so lucky on the chess piece craft that I made, and that thing like kind of holds the ball together, kind of.
Yeah.
So busted.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn suppression.
It's
kind of
taken
crazy
PDR.
how suppression has really feels like a one of the most mandatory things. Like it feels like a lot of times now. Like any build I play that doesn't have suppression
anymore.
Man, it feels so shit. Like it's crazy.
Yep. Well, luckily this league you can have suppression charms, and the King Jewel gives up to 15% suppression.
Yep.
So a lot easier to cap suppression on builds that can't access it normally.
Yep.
Makes it even more mandatory in a way, though. You will always just pick it up now.
Yeah.
In some way or another. I would not play odd suppression at all.
Ooh. He's just got a nice little helmet. He has a +1 power in his 14, 14, 13 chicken head.
Yeah.
I double crafted 2 of those today, but they're off my filter. No longer.
Rip.
Rip.
Yeah, yeah, but I think my guy's kind of just more. I've keep swapping everything around, but like right now it's kind of like set up for cards, and since I don't have like Headhunter to kind of carry, I figure I probably need Omni for the damage, and just so between Omni and Helm, and I'm not as concerned about rarity with card farming, trying to get like Patience and Headhunter that way. It's working, so I'm doing T16s, and it's definitely, I'm not failing 8 Bob maps because you got that 6 portal layer defense, as a backup. But I mean, it's going pretty smooth.
Man, your shiny Ventors, you got real lucky on.
Shiny Ventors, man. Yeah.
It's
well,
real
it was
good
the
shiny
first.
Ventors.
It was the first Ventors I found, and I divined it.
Oh
Divine.
God, that's disgusting.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you want
just
to just briefly say for people who don't know how you both have a body armor, like the body armors, like how was your process for making those? Because a lot of people, that's like the bow thing. You fracture +2 roll till you get LE rolls, sure, but like the body armor is a little bit might be daunting for people who don't know.
I mean, there's a couple ways going around it actually. If I can go easy.
Please. I was gonna say I follow your probably methodology anyway. So
okay. I mean, there's a couple ways of doing it. Like, depends what you wanna achieve, right? So there's like 2 things that you kind of have to think about. Like, so first thing is you don't want to have a life. So this body armor that we both use is just a body armor that has no life to utilize the life mastery, which is 15% life. For 1 point, right? So that's pretty much translates to like T1 life roll in most cases, right? So that's nice, and you get big armor, big evasion, depending if you're using either armor evasion or zodiac letter, right? So I usually say that to get a fractured base, so you want a fractured suffix base. In most cases, it makes it much easier to craft. But you start the chess piece from the prefixes side. So usually in current PoE is just do the one side of the item and then do the second side of the item. So I got pretty lucky with mine. So I tried to make it the right way, but I got lucky. So I'm not gonna mention that. But it really depends if you want to have avoidance or not, right? So you get 2 defense mods, and then you lock prefixes, which is prefix can be changed. And then you could either use Ashley or Veld Chaos. And then you hope to get a Veld prefix, right? Which is usually avoidance. So then your prefixes are done. But you start getting, to go back, you try to get the armor and evasion rolls with either Essence or Dense Fossils, right? Dense Fossils obviously cut all the life mods, so it's very good. And then when your prefixes are done, you can either use lock prefix, reforge, chaos to get chaos res, reforge physical mode to get PDR, or you can just use Eldritch Currency. So pretty much, as most of the items that are currently in PoE, just finish one side of the item and do something with the second side.
Yep.
I actually think I approach mine slightly different. So just I guess another methodology that kind of works too. I mean, I just dropped like a perfect Zodiac base from like Uber Cortex, so it could hit the T1 spell suppression, and then just hit the 3 Omni Essences on it to start with the suffixes until I hit T1 suppression, and then suffix lock, and then Chaos Reforge, right? Which kind of like what Legi said, then it puts Chaos Res on it, right? So you get T1 suppression, T1 Omni, and then chaos res for suffixes, and then they're done. And then for me, like he said, ideally you have no life mod, so you get a bigger evasion roll or something on it. But when I veiled chaos mine, it hit T1 life, and I unveiled ailments. So you take what you get, right?
One in Rome.
Well, funnily enough, the story of my chess piece was similar. Like I hit that defense mods, like the T1 defense mods, and I tried to like multi-mod craft a mod and like reforge Fizz to like get PDR, but that failed. So I clicked one Eldritch Chaos and got res and suppression on my first Eldritch Chaos, and then slammed PDR. So
there you go.
Don't do right things. Do the wrong things and get lucky. That's how we craft in PoE.
Yep, vision crafting.
And then for the bows, you guys have basically the same bow. What's the current process for getting the elemental rolls on a bow for after you've already you fractured +2? Is it just still you just essence slamming like deafenings and hoping to get there too, or you fossils, or how'd you go about it?
You slam essences until you hit a second mod usually, and like you're probably not gonna hit 3 mods, so it's always 2 mods, and then either you can lock prefix reforge the missing element to like luck into another good roll, which is like 1 in I think 12, and now with that divines are kind of whatever, so you can always do that and hope to get lucky. Or you can just exalt. Like if you let's say get a essence plus T1 or T2 of the other elemental roll, just you can exalt and hope for the best, pretty much. But yeah, usually it's just either if you have spare life force, you augment. But I think that's waste of time.
Yeah.
But it's just slam essences until it hits. Like I'm trying to recraft my bow soon, but
same. Or you could just essence it and literally hit T1, T4, and then T2 attack speed and T3 crit, and then don't have to craft anything. I guess that works too, but I too want to recraft when I have like 300 or 400 or 500 essences and maybe go Fizz. I don't know. But that essence just hit, and then yeah, exactly what he said, right? Like as long as you hit like T1, T2, then you can kind of, the only other way that, he probably does and I do too, would be like wolf links as well if you're beasting a lot, so you can save exalts and annuls. But yeah, just kind of try to force that third good prefix on, and then Ashling or Veiled Chaos for the suffix. Definitely more risky when you don't have that many expendable essences, but I still always just Veiled Chaos and send it. Because YOLO. Because YOLO.
Indeed. Do we
easy?
Oh, go.
Are you gonna be playing any other builds, or are you TSing it again?
Probably. I think so. I'm trying to. Yeah, I think probably just TS it to the end of the league. I did the 40-40, did the 100, so I guess next is really just kind of like, and maybe this can kind of lead into the second question or topic, but is finish up the uniques. I think I still have the staff and then one of the swords, like from the random mist. I'm sure find that soon, but then yeah, I don't know. Just try to farm out those last like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 that are missing now, and yeah, whatever. I mean, Bo's just the fastest. I don't mind playing the same build as long as it feels the most efficient.
Have you guys found so the base affliction uniques? I've only found the shield. Have you got which ones have you found in the Wildwood of the base? Because there's a sword, the helm, is there boots also? I think, right?
No, it's sword, shield, and helm.
I thought there was boots. Let me check.
I think I have all 3 of them.
Boots as well. Yes, there's boots as well. It's Gamble Sprint. That's the fourth one.
Aren't the Gamble Sprint from Trialmaster?
I thought they were from Trialmaster.
Really?
Yeah.
The Gamble Sprints are Trialmaster. Yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
They added to the Trialmaster. Added this new ring and Gamble Sprint.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll have
to farm Trialmaster anyways.
The Trickster and then the Flood. So yeah, I haven't found the helmet or the sword yet.
I found the sword yesterday as the last missing one.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Sword seems interesting.
I just sent you that ring. That ring's actually kind of crazy because you can use those you can use catalyst on it up to 200% for the
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can get a 60 crit multi
temptation.
ring.
Yeah, I hit one essence or one tainted catalyst on it, and it went to 167 fizz and chaos. It's just like it's just so
So
crazy to see
how
that
does
catalyst
the
that high.
tainted? How does it? Okay, how did the? You don't have to use 167 catalysts. Like, how does it work again? Or did you have to
No,
use?
so no, it just says well that all items can go up to 20 catalyst, right? So if
Correct.
it
Yeah.
basically but that ring says it goes up to 200. So it's just a random roll. It just rolls 1 to 200 and then it rolls the 7 catalyst types, right?
Okay, so you it comes pre-catalyzed randomly. You're saying?
It did come pre-catalyzed and I used one and that's what I got, but I don't remember what it came with. I mean 40 defense percent or something. But it did come pre-catalyzed with something, but that's what it gave me when I used one click
Yeah.
just to see it happen.
I mean, it's not like it's. I mean, it's not very good. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's like which of these stats would be. The multi can go pretty high, I guess, but
Yeah, like Manni's saying.
I
Yeah,
don't think
big-
that thing is good ever.
Yeah.
Honestly.
yeah,
That's alright.
okay.
If you hit like, it's like the kind of ring you would use if you find it on day one, but you're not gonna kill the Trial Master on day one of the league, I guess.
Why not?
Because you're never gonna click ultimatum.
Because
That's true.
he will kill you.
Offensively.
I
any
guess
You'll
I have
never
to go back
reach
to highest
last
for
wave.
the badge. I forgot I didn't have badge yet.
Yeah, I do. Is there any? I mean, I've just been doing grand heists as I get them from MFing, basically. I don't think I'm gonna be. I mean, maybe when I finish that, I'll start targeting heist per se. But I'm getting like
I'm kind of thinking of
uh,
doing MFing without Wandering Path, just so I can have a chance for fully revealed blueprints, among other things.
that's fair. I think if you're doing it at tier 16s, that would make more sense. You know, because
You can
Yeah,
have like
a little
Saiyans
more.
and better Beyond nodes. You can have
Yeah.
some pretty good stuff there without Wandering Path as well.
I think Beyond suffers a lot with without Wandering Path. Like the merging radius is like really small with the
Yeah.
keystone.
Keystone, it's kind of mandatory though. Also, like nothing
I mean,
feels
you can
worse
take
than.
the keystone.
Yeah, but
you
I'm
can
saying like
get
if you don't take the keystone, that feels real shit when you kill the first
Oh, yeah.
pack in a boss spawn. It's like, okay, well, cool. I guess this is all wasted now. I'm glad that it exists because if it didn't, I would be so angry at Beyond half the time. Like if you had a boss in the very beginning of a map.
Definitely a good addition.
I agree.
Have you guys seen the boss like shitting out like uniques for like a minute straight, like back in Scourge League?
yeah.
Yep.
In a good map, a lot of
so
purple and yellow.
slow. Like it happens even in the wild because I honestly find that Beyond node quite frequently in the wild. I feel like,
True.
and even then, if you're really juicing, it's like it'll just be sitting there going doink 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 doink, and just waiting.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing Incursion does, right? Where it's progressively drops loot. Because as of now, it's like sometimes you'll kill a big Abyss rare pack near a spire, and like your game freezes for a second when all the loot comes out. It's like literally just too much juice. Is there any? What you saying to me?
I just checked. There's only 147 Burden of Shadow stuff listed on Trade League. That thing seems
It's
pretty rare.
It could be that, or it just also could be they're not worth a lot, so no one's selling them. You know.
Oh, it's actually 20 chaos.
It's true. They're 20C. But it is rare. I'm pretty sure it's like probably another 1% or 0.5.
It's probably like the Lucia stuff, right?
Yeah, which is
That's what
equally as shit. But you know.
Is that the stuff from Kingdom Mist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty easy to like target him. Like you just blast on a really fast build with
Yeah, that's true. It's already rewarding anyway. You can find some sick jewels.
Yeah, I didn't feel bad because you just like, you know.
Even farm harvest at a good pace, right? You only farm life force just as fast as running harvest.
You can get upwards. I've gotten upwards of almost 2,000 life force in a wildwood. Like when it's like a really, really big map, you get some huge numbers for just doing like nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Have you got also not this is just a personal rant, but like what is the spawn rate of harvest bosses is abysmal. Because I've had harvest on the entire league, and I've found
But
6 or
they
7
don't spawn in
days.
low tier maps, you know that, right?
Oh, they can spawn on lower tier maps. Just I mean, I've had them spawn in yellow maps before.
Okay. I guess they can't drop in no Sharpie then, or what do you mean?
No, I was trying to get the bear belt, and I just couldn't. I don't find any bosses. Like I've tried crop rotation, and I've done like hundreds of red maps even with harvest on, just do not get bosses. Whatever the rate is, it just seems so bad.
Must be a skill issue. I think I got the belt on my first boss.
Yeah, I actually got the belt on my first boss too. Definitely a skill issue.
Every day I come here, I am abused.
I'm just gonna say something random because I've been vendoring my Nebulous, and I wanted to get the elemental roll.
Yep.
When you're 3-1 Nebulous now, you get a random Implicit.
What?
Now instead of getting a 40%
Wait,
elemental
really?
roll.
That's
Oh,
weird.
really?
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah,
That
That is new.
I don't know if that's intended. There was no patch notes about that. That work for rings also?
I don't know. I'm vendoring it 3-1 Nebulous.
You would have to get the same roll on the rings, right? For them to 3-for-1 together.
No. It was just the same color ring. It used to give me just like a sapphire ring, and they would just have whatever. Weird. Cortex new meta. I actually my Nebulous this league, one of them gave me the 2 to 3 decks per cold per deck scaling as one of the implicits, which is like, man, that's rare to see. And now I got it on a Nebulous. New Spellblade meta.
It's got Intimidate on it.
Oh, good. Congrats.
Yeah.
Gonna intimidate so good.
Does that stacking mod actually even work with Spellblade?
I don't know.
Because the damage isn't directly on the weapon, right? It's more like a mod that gives it or something. I'm
Still-
not
it's
even
still
sure if that
local
would work with
damage.
Spellblade.
I'll let you know. I'll try it out and find out.
Okay.
New cracked meta. The any other builds? I know Easy said he's living the TS life, but any other builds you guys have planned for this league specifically?
I mean, I have a fulcrum. So, and magic finding is what I want to do. It's fun. So that is kind of an obvious build to go for.
Yep, I'm leveling it right now.
Otherwise, I'm not really sure. I was thinking about doing some power charge stacking stuff because roller cache is so fun now, and you can use the Maven belts finally.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I don't know if I want to play a build with those belts when I have the big belts available. Feels weird. Feels
do you have a
wrong.
Headhunter Mageblood?
Yeah.
You just MF both of them or what?
The Headhunter came basically from Heisting. I got a Doctor in Heist and Gamblet to 6, and then Patience were farmed for the rest. And while I was farming those Patience, what do you know, a Mage Blood's on the ground.
Every day I come
Just-
here, I am abused. I will offer you 5 Bloodseekers for one of your belts, kind sir.
I got 3 Beanos for one of your other belt.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I have I can get a foil Mage Blood right now. I have a pretty easy Valdo map.
Oh, yeah, one
It
of
gets
the-
worse. It gets worse.
But it has Void on it, so I'm never running it, even though it's easy.
Oh, it got
Yeah.
better.
That's fair.
You can have
Yeah.
that one. You can run it.
I'll take it. I'll
I'll
send
take it
in.
as well.
I'll send in the Reaper build.
Send in one of your 13 characters
Yeah.
you've leveled in the last 28 days.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Crazy.
Yeah, I want to. For build, I want to play. I'm making this Fulcrum build, and then I'm gonna get the Mamba build to 100. That build's real good. Pathfinder's really good. It just feels really good. Like one-shotting every pack. Prolifs go like across the
So-
screen. Yeah.
That build is just double Rebuke of the Val combined with the Poison Tincture.
Yeah, basic. That's the TLDR. Yeah, then you run the medium low tolerance. It's like the 300% more on your first hit. You have like 7 to 8 instances of that occurring. So you just get like your
Wait,
first
why?
hits. Well, you have 4 mediums. It's on a mastery. It's on the tincture. Really,
Oh,
should
I
have
thought you had like
voices.
7 first hits. I'm like, huh?
No, well,
You
it's
can only have 1 first
yeah,
hit,
yeah,
right?
yeah. One first hit, but it's 300%.
But it has like
times-
2000% damage. then or
Correct.
something.
Yes, on top of the 270% more or whatever it has. So you just Yeah, this mod you just hit once and it just
You just
goes
kind of one-shot poison things. That's interesting.
It's really fun, yeah, because the prolif is so strong, and then the it's a strike build, so you get splash, and then it feels good. The only problem I have with it is I'm using it to do my MFing, and it'll travel across an abyss pack, 2 screens away, onto the spire, one shot the spire. And that's like,
yeah.
Right. So you gotta be. What I end up doing is I end up whirling blading through the spire gently until it triggers the next breakpoint, delicately tickling it until it gives me my mobs. But I'll get that to 100, and then I'll probably just play Fulcrum 2, whatever, until I get bored of that. I don't know if there's anything else I really want to look at.
I still have a lot of things I want to min-max on my current characters. It's just with how much currency drops this league, you can actually, have much higher goals in terms of gear.
Yeah.
You can craft a lot of stuff with all these divines and eldritch currencies and so on.
A lot of roads lead to Adorned for me, I think, which is going to be.
Yeah, that could be fun too. But what build do we play with it? It's mostly about life stackers and AS
for me,
stackers.
it'd be Viper Strike. That's Viper Strike because you use, you want use 2 voices and then 3 mediums, so you have all the back end sockets, or 6 mediums.
Yeah, but
so.
what do you have on those jewels even?
Life
It's
dot.
multi.
Yeah, life multi. That's it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something more interesting.
Nothing fun. No, it's not like fun or fancy. Just very vanilla. The build is vanilla. Yeah.
I don't want to touch a door in this
What is
league.
that
Like, this
path
is
thing on that
too much pain.
you're looking at right now? What is this box start?
My tree? Oh, this is the Fulcrum stuff, because you got to go the prismatic skin, you get the cauterization,
later.
So you don't ignite your ignites don't get on you, so you get the shitty enemy ignites. You want the big boy Fulcrum ignites. It looks like a split personality tree. I understand. It's got questionable pathing. Leveling a Fulcrum, I mean, I don't know what level you put in Fulcrum on, but I don't think the build works until like 70 something.
I don't really want to play Blade Vortex. It's like I was like thinking about playing some Squire Blade Vortex because I have also the one that have multiple crafts, so I can do the multiple link weapon with all the divines and stuff. I could probably force it somehow, but if not, then I just want to play you just explode the Mage Blood or Headhunter BV build. It's been a while.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Some good old
Squire
BV.
does sound cool. Yeah, I
literally haven't played it since Harvest.
I was thinking about doing Carrion Golem with the Squire, like one of the swords with the Elder Shaper, like the same one you'd use for any other Squire build, but just basically 8-link, 9-link golems. But then I'd have to do delve for golem jewels, and that made me sad.
I want to play Reaper as well. Like I've been wanting to play Reaper.
Every podcast.
I leveled it also.
Every podcast. Okay, listen, guys. It's gonna happen.
So
I'm playing
interesting
Reaper
thing I saw with Reaper. And this is what people were doing in trade, right? It's a standard, like the bow thing you do, right? That whole song and dance. But in their 6th link, they run basically twinned 5 links, and they run both versions of Reaper. So they have one big Reaper, and 2 small Reapers. Because it's just better. That solves the biggest problem of Reaper, which is the coverage, right? You just don't. Your AOE is abysmal, even with like explosions.
I'm not playing Reaper.
Yeah. So they're using, they're playing champions, with bows, and then they're using Reaper of Reaping and Reaper in the twinned 5-link, and they have like Dragonflight Necklace. They got Awakened Empower plus 4 gem bow, so it's like a little 30 Reaper, but it's still just keels over. Like
I want to throw up right now. I want to throw up already. Oh my god.
We try to find them.
Disgusting.
They're very funny looking, the builds, but I don't know if Reaper. I'm convinced it can't be good. I'm near.
I don't know. I just love how it looks. That's all. I just love the Reaper looks, but that's about it. But probably just gonna play it. I'm gonna play BB.
And the Reaper builds with like the double Reaper ones are really funny looking, but like the champion ones are good. There's like a lot of funny Reaper builds. Reaper of Reaping. In Affliction League, there is currently like 10 people using it. Am I typing something wrong? It can't be that low. Is it that low?
Has to be that low, yeah.
No, it's It's just.
Oh no.
It's just abysmal. That's the life.
I mean, I just have to, have my old grandpa saying every podcast, I want to play a Reaper World, guys.
I know.
And love,
I just
episode
think-
number 33.
Listen,
I want to play
don't know
Reaper,
why.
guys.
I just don't know why they don't just give Reaper Soul Eater. Like, just give it Soul Eater on kill. It's a Reaper. It should be eating souls. It makes thematic sense. And I don't even think it'd be busted, because it doesn't increase its bossing potential, right? It just would make it so it would stay alive and it would feel better clear. Like, it would solve all the problems. Can you imagine having, like, them running around all juiced up like that? Or just make it so the jewel, like the one that gives you Soul Eater for Spectres, works on, like, Reaper also. So at least it has that,
No.
There's a hope. Okay. Shot down. Do we want to do some Q&A before we wrap it up?
Yeah, sure. If there's any questions,
I know,
fire them up.
Feel free to ask questions in chat. I have one that I had from before that someone asked, which was just, this is heavily prompted by something I said a couple days ago, which was, what is our stance on there being certain levels of quality of life locked behind mystery boxes this league and MTX. Ooh. So examples of that would include having a singular portal, or having shortcuts in your hideout to certain places in game, or having the ring that tracks currency or tracks mobs, or time tracking on map. Any sort of statistics or metrics, or things that would be, again, not like huge gameplay impacts, but just quality of life locked behind gambling. Even though the gambling you can't get duplicates, it's still like, you could do, if there's 30 MTXs, you could get it on the 30th, meaning it could cost you $5 or $500, right? So, like, what are your guys' thoughts on that sort of thing?
I will say, I've played for how many ever years? 7 years, 8 years, and I'd say after the first couple, like, I stopped buying mystery boxes, and the last league was the first one I probably bought mystery boxes in 2 or 3 years, or 4 years or something, because it was like, oh wow, that's huge advantage. It's not a huge advantage, but like to know your map tracking time, and I just kept clicking until I got the map tracking one. And then same thing with this league. I mean, I had to buy like 20 boxes because I just wanted to keep track of my currency. Like you said, it doesn't really give you any advantage in games, but it is interesting to have these like mechanical based ones than purely cosmetic stuff, because this isn't purely cosmetic. Like the map tracking one like helps you get in, get out of maps faster. That's how I've tried to train my brain. It's like, dude, you've been in a map for more than 2-3 minutes, or big maps maybe 10 minutes. Like, all right, let's get out of this map and let's go to the next one or something. But from a design, and I think it's a good move so they could make money, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I really just to me it's like it really reeks like the whole thing. And if there was a thing, this exists in other games, if there was a thing that was like $20 and you buy like PoE Plus, and it just had all the statistics, metric, the quality of life things in a bundle, I don't think I'd have a problem with it as much. I wish it was a non, purchasable thing, but I understand this is metrics, this is quality of life, whatever. But the fact that it's locked behind the gambling part, to me, is like super offensive. That it's not equal opportunity to get these things. Like, that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I think like I absolutely hate it. Like, I always compare that to WoW, right? Because I played that game for a long time, and WoW, and like a lot of MMOs as well. Like, you just have this tab. You've done this on this character, and there's like statistics because they track this, right? They can track it, they can give us the access, but they just want us to gamble and give them money for something that they just tracking anyway. Absolutely despise it. Like, I know it makes sense. It's a bit different situation because that's how the game is monetized. It's not like a sub-based game. Like, they need to do something about it. It just the idea of it, like, I hate it.
If this is going to keep happening, I would rather just pay $40 for the game now and then not have to ever deal with this shit again, personally.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's like it really is stinky to me, because like it's gotten a little bit worse each time, because last league was the map tracking time thing. This one is the tracking of currency, a singular map portal, which I think is like kind of a little advantageous. I mean, I'd rather just walk in
Wait,
one
there's
portal.
a singular map portal?
Yes, there is. That has
Yep.
six portals. So you just walk in one spot. So when you're vendoring, it's like the exact same pattern. That one's
Oh
crazy.
wow. Well, I only have like 3 or 4 different things I can get now, so I might as well just fucking.
Right, that's my point. So
It's from
supporter pack, right?
from
Not
the
a
core
box.
pack.
Okay,
It's from
so
core pack, yeah.
and then there's
Oh, okay.
also there's a direct portals to Einhar Lab Delve that you can have in your HUD. Now those you're clicking that versus the waypoint, but that's like very, very minor. But there's just like there's a diamond flask that has an MTX that shows you where a boss is in an arena, which for like things like Eater of Worlds or Cirrus, where the boss has high mobility and like potentially can one-shot you, knowing always where the boss is off screen, to me, is like, that's now mechanical advantage. That's locked behind an MTX for a flask. Like, that's kind of crazy. So there's like, examples like that are a little bit, it's getting more and more offensive each league, basically, to me. What are your thoughts, man? You've been very quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. I don't know. I haven't really bought any MTX ever, other than stash tabs. I wish I had. Like, I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of tempted to buy stuff. I wish I had the trackers, but I mean, I have to make money somehow. I don't really care too much. I wasn't offended. Maybe I am now. You guys make some valid points. I'm kind of offended now.
I mean, that's what you're saying. You want to have it, and it's like it's based behind gambling and stuff. It's just stinky. And like it's less stinky than other games, honestly. Like obviously, like this industry overall, like the gaming industry is fucking dreadful. Like it's the bottom of the barrel industry of everything, right? So I would say it's less offensive, but it still reeks, in my opinion.
Well, not to play the devil's advocate and share the GGG stance, but I do think, at least for like the time tracking one, I do think they make it available for single purchase 30 days after the next leagues.
So
like
for that one, yes. But if something's in Keurig Vault, it's gone forever. So when the league ends, that Keurig Vault pass is not in the base store anymore. So if they locked an MTX like the Diamond Flask one that shows you where a boss is off screen, if that was part of the Keurig Pass and that Keurig Pass ended, that's never coming back. So you can't even get it again. That's the part that to me that's crazy, right?
People can't get the Legacy portal, the best portal effect in the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just sucks. It sucks to be you, I guess. I don't know. No.
Yeah. It's especially because, like, coming from like a game like WoW that has the add-on functionality, or a game like RuneScape that has a plugin system, where it's this modular customization of your game's experience. Not that's going to maybe directly impact how you play, but just how you approach different aspects of the game, from statistic tracking or like loot tracking, that sort of stuff. Especially for Trade League, that seems like extremely important if you're taking the game in a more serious route. So to not have access, or even just remotely equal access to it because you don't have the financial backing, or even if you did, you couldn't purchase it because you weren't like then there, like 2 leagues ago when, the Keurig Stash Divine Tracker was out, whatever. That's kind of wild. That's the part that gets that, and the gambling part. At least there's no duplicates, but yeah. Should we take more credit? Anyone have anything else to say about this? Anything more to say? Yeah.
I think you said it all.
Managed supports Big GG confirmed. Where is it?
Yep.
Someone you talked about uniques that are exclusive to the eggs in the forest. What are those? The Calandra's touch when you're leggy. That's the exclusive egg unique. If you use the Trans Reaper where you have 3 of them, do they kill each other? No, it specifies non-Reaper enemies. And despite the small Reaper saying maximum 3 and the large one saying maximum 4, you don't get 3, you don't get 4, you get 3. You get 2 smalls and 1 big one. They don't eat each other. But you can use the perfect Dark Marionette Spectre that comes back infinitely, and your Reapers just perpetually gobble them up. And if you're in Trade League, you'd probably just play a Necromancer, then buy the Flesh and Flame for your Golems, and then they would just come back always. So you could always feed your Reapers if you wanted to. There's a lot of fracturing in the gear shown. Is there a strategy to farming fracturing orbs? I guess there's one thing they added this league especially. So you have fracturing shards and orbs come from Harbinger, and then there's also a div card that drops off of specific bosses, like the Strand boss, that can just drop a two fracturing orb card. Do you guys have anything particularly you did for your fracturing shards and orbs?
I will chime in because I did farm that card. So there's a lot of people coming into my chat and like saying, oh, I did this amount of maps, this amount of maps, this amount of maps to get the card, right? So from like anecdotal evidence, I would say the card is like one. Don't take it as a gospel, right? I would say 1 in like 400, 500 map kills, right? So you need to kill like, that's a lot, right? Yeah. But it's, the one full fracturing orb, right? So you can do it while post rushing. So that's nice. And for me, I don't know if I got unlucky or lucky, but I finished the set in 1.2k coves, right? That's a lot of maps.
Yeah.
But yet again, like that's not the main way of getting it. It's just, it can happen, right? So, and when, let's say you get lucky early on, you can gamble it with harvest, right? So that's one of the angles you can take. But it's definitely not the main way of acquiring orbs. Never will be. It's just as good. I think, yeah.
You gotta keep in mind that most of the gear you saw there was not actually fractured with orbs. Pretty much only the bow, right? Have you guys fractured anything else with fracture orbs?
No.
Nope.
I did a large jewel one time for 35%. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of your fractured bases to craft on are just IDs, farming them for maps. You don't expect to fracture up anything but the very, very best item of your build because they're so rare.
Yeah, especially for like the generic fracture crafts like tier 1, life res suppression, movement speed on boots, those sort of stuff. You're getting such an influx of rares from the league mechanic and the juicing that you're very likely to find every other map fracture worth keeping, whether it's like just like a 45 res or like a 90 something life. And then you kind of just essence craft off of that, and you've already got honestly half the work done right there. So especially those earlier rares, you just bounce off of, you toss an essence on a fractured thing. It's like that's kind of just done after a mastercraft for the bulk of it. So
and you have all the divines you want from this league mechanic, right? So you can just get other stuff done.
Replica dragonflights or Chacos. Spend your divines on cool things, people. Don't use them on crafting. Use them on rolling, like Easy did on his Ventor. It paid off for him. It'll work for you, guaranteed.
Confirmed.
I clicked on my Ventor. Didn't work.
True.
Lighty is a sham, as always.
Well, I actually have an extra Ventor. I'll do one right now, just to prove a point.
Do it.
Here we go. All right, don't look at stream. Okay.
Streamer client confirmed.
Oh boy. Someone asked the question, what is your favorite missed encounter of like the random events? I do like the Beyond one because it almost always drops like 4 to 6 Beyond, like tainted currency. I like that one. And then I guess just the one there where it has the purple orb, like the chunk of purple wisp in the center with like the ring around it. That's like 1500 purple juice almost always. So I guess by default, those are my favorite too.
I love the harvest the most, I think. Just not running harvest and just doing something else while, getting like big chunk. Yeah. While, dealing with the bullshit that you have to like click twice.
All the upside, none of the downside.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fun.
It's good. Manny?
Yeah, the harvest one is great. The other ones are pretty boring, right? There isn't really anything. They're just either spawning wisps or some of them just really don't do anything. They're just empty open areas.
I absolutely hated that Strongbox one. Like that's the most baffling one. I think I remember you mentioning that.
What about the shrines?
Like, I mean, shrines like whatever, but like Strongbox, like you go into this forbidden woods and there's like 3 Strongboxes in the middle of it. Who put them there? What the fuck?
Strongbox one is particularly bad. Yeah, that one's rough. The shrine one's
just feels out of place.
Yeah, I don't mind the like the 3. Oh, actually, my
free
least
yellow
favorite,
dudes, the free bosses.
That one's fine. I don't mind that one. I was gonna say the fake King of the Mist. That's the one I hate the most.
Oh yeah, I hate that one.
Him.
But you get a ritual vessel.
Oh boy,
If
it was a filled ritual vessel, I would probably complain less. But it's an empty ritual vessel, and he has like hard phases in the fight. Like he gains like immunity partially, and then just like shoots 3 nuggets at you to do 2 damage. And then he just dances around like. It's just a waste of time, that whole encounter. And he doesn't even give you juice. Like, at least when you kill the trees and you kill Black Morgan, you get like 1,500 juice, you know? You get nothing for killing him.
Give you juice. He does give you juice.
I don't
He gives
think
you a
it's
purple juice, like
I don't think it's
800,
nearly
something like that.
I think
It's
you're
like
working
half
for,
of the
I
encounter.
think you're working for Big Mist over here. I don't know. I don't believe it.
He's
But
not
yeah.
not working for a big time. Like
No.
he's-
Did you guys ever get anything good from the unique vendor, the old dude?
I got Warrior's Legacy. That's kind of rare, right?
Which
Mhm.
one?
Warrior's Legacy, the Metamorph ring.
Oh, the ring. Yes.
Yeah.
I got
Yes. Yeah.
the Solaris, that the wand that you
She
can
won
bind
unique?
for Destiny.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shade of Solaris.
Shade of Solaris, yeah, that was my one encounter with him. That's what I got.
I think
I
it
need to
was,
buy new glasses because I still haven't met him. So.
I've had him like 6 or 7 times now, and it's always been like a couple tier 1s in there. I've had the Hoofs, Abrev's Hoofs. I've had
boy.
Arakali's Fang, and then Warrior's Legacy, as I said. Intuitive Leap on my very first one. It was my first unique jewel in the
Oh,
league.
nice.
Oh, nice.
I had
But yeah,
Ivory Tower a
nothing
couple
really
times. That's like
useful.
the biggest thing I think I got was like, you know, some
I
like
think that's-
decent tier 2s.
That vendor always has a T1 unique, always has at least a T1 unique, and it can have a T0, but like the T1 unique is always guaranteed. So that's interesting thing about it. But yeah,
Oh,
that's very fun.
Yeah, seems good. I mean, if we're saying my favorite thing, it's the one that converts all the wisps into one type. Probably, actually, that might be my favorite. I like that
I've
one a
only
lot.
found
wait,
that-
really? Isn't that completely useless?
No. Yeah, turn it all into purple.
What do you use it for?
I want just to see 10,000 purple juice. That's the dream for me. This league. I've never had it happen. I've gotten to like 9,000 something, but 10,000. I want to see that.
The
I actually
nameless
took a-
shrine is so good.
Yeah.
It's
I
when
like the shrine where you get double XP, but you can't find any items. I clicked it on my Magic Wand maps a lot.
Mm.
Great.
Paintball leveling. Holy shit. It's great. the 2 times you misclick the wildwood while leveling. Oh, let's see what other questions we got. How do you guys deal with the FOMO and possible burnout that can follow from that when you are not hitting the expected? You're not hitting the expected. I don't know what the second part of that question is, but the first part makes sense. How do you deal with FOMO and burnout? I mean, that could happen. We used to call it like headhunter syndrome, where you'd play a whole league, you know, with a headhunter, and then the next league you start your character and you're flaccid, basically, right? But typically we just you take a little bit of, even after like 3-4 days of not playing Path, it's like I'm back to neutral, so I don't really have much of an issue. But there hasn't really been, as far as like fear of missing out on something. I mean, sometimes for a build, like if I couldn't get something to work, but it's pretty minimal. If you just throw enough time at this game, even SSF, you could make really anything happen. Like maybe bar like a specific, like playing like Flicker with a Shaco maybe, but like for the most part, you could do it all. I don't really experience too much of that. How about you guys?
I
Pretty much the
don't really
same.
ever
kinda.
have any. Yeah. For the burnout part, you just gotta step away from PoE at some point. Sometimes, just take a break from it. And it can help to just experience the different like facets or the PoE has. There's so many different ways to enjoy the game. Like sometimes it's nice to just load up a Ruthless character or try an SSF character
Whoa,
or try
slow
a
down
hardcore
there,
run.
crazy.
Okay.
Slow down there, crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
my-
ruthless nonsense.
I'll take the Ruthless
next week
back.
you're
I'll
gonna
take the
say
Ruthless
play a
back.
minion build or something.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah,
man.
play a minion build, play a
Like
hardcore
Reaper.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play a private league, like play something else, right? Ignore the Ruthless part.
Ruthless is
You hate
one of
this.
the game modes of all time. I'll give it that.
People have
I mean-
mage bloods in Ruthless now. Do you guys know? In
Legally.
this league?
Yeah. All 10 of them, yeah, I'm sure. The players,
Yeah,
not the
Ruthless is
items.
like decent this league. Honestly, there's less
I mean,
bullshit in Ruthless.
You have to get to that point still. Like, it's like, I'm sure it's
I
fun
mean,
at the
you-
amusement park, but it's 4 hours away. I'm good.
At least
Like,
you can run at normal speed with the wild with the
it's
silences.
true. That's. I'm surprised I didn't nerf that mid league. The fun detected someone got their little alarm went off. Yeah, I mean, other games helps. Just like you play, like I play a few games at a one time, so ooh, nice. So so it's just jewel crafting in the background over here. They're playing other games helps for sure to split up the monotony, or like, I've just been like, when I get tired of a certain point of playing like in Path, I'll just level another character because I know I'm gonna want one eventually. So it's like I'll just like pre-do a Marauder or like a Templar or whatever,
Oh,
Like, oh, they'll
That's
just
so
get.
weird.
I know, but I've always used them at this point. Yeah.
It's like I hate playing PoE, so I'm gonna do the worst part.
yeah, that would burn me out
It's-
super hard.
Yeah,
I pretty much
yeah,
burn
I'll
out
just
whenever I'm
quit
at the
instant.
point where I'm like,
Man,
I
I'm
have
on
to
like
level a new character.
turbo autopilot. It's I'm barely paying attention when leveling. Especially because like for like if I'm leveling any Templar, you level as a Guardian, use the big Sentinel dude, and you just put Convoke on left click, and you're walking to red maps. Like there's zero stopping. So you just get to identify like ways to bypass leveling, because it's not. I don't think I enjoy it at this point at all. I just numb myself and go through it. All right, let's do a couple more questions here because I gotta take a piss. I'm hungry. What were you saying?
It was a nice, Lord of
I
Wars.
see a question
lady.
about juice, how to get 5k. How to
I
get
feel
5k
like
is
in
very
most maps
rare.
I get 3K, 5K very rare. What are the numbers? Strategy for that? Well, so when we're saying juice, oftentimes we're not talking about a specific number. It's the total juice. Like getting 5K purple, doesn't happen too often for me. But like it's quite common. I'll get like 3,000 purple, 2,000 blue, 2,000 yellow, which is like more than enough. But things like pack size scales it up. What else does? I think that's pretty much it. Just pack size, right?
There's a couple tips about actually running the forest. Like, you don't want to loot the wisps on the ground while you're clearing. You want to
That's afterwards.
like the
yeah.
wisps that are they're on like the edge of your path that you've discovered so far. No reason to pick them up now because they will just eat your fuel. Discover like exploring area right next to it that you don't need to explore right now. So oftentimes it's good to go back the way you came from and just go for another trail, and then once the portal spawns, that's when you go back and loot everything, and then you can squeeze out an extra like 1,000 or something easily.
Because you could dip into the darkness to grab the edge, is what he's saying effectively. When you're initially mapping out your path, right? The way that the Wildwood spawns is it spawns in a diamond, and you spawn on one of the 4 points, and effectively there's like a couple trails from when you spawn that can occur. So if you're in a corner where you're right and you're down, for example, there's nothing there. It's like the edge. You can only go up or left. You kind of have an idea of where you are in the Wildwood. And then from that point, okay, so I can go up and I can go left. And then you go left, then it's like, all right, I've expended the left, so now I'm going to go up again. And you kind of start to map out where you're going, because you want to just be killing stuff, mostly, and trying to find the big events. And then afterwards, you just double back, then pick up all the... suck all the stuff.
When you do find an event, you don't really want to loot all the wisps from that event right away. Just let them sit there, and once the portal spawns, right, when your fuel is run out, that's when you go back and loot all the wisps that are there. Otherwise, you would probably waste a bunch of your fuel, of your exploration, picking up those wisps at the edge of the events, just revealing walls or whatever there is, useless things.
You want to be looking for the extenders, especially like those. You can. I would say probably every Wildwood might spawn at least 4 to 6. I feel like probably over the entire place, right? They're just sometimes nooked away and whatever, and you could get a lot of the Wildwood paths at least unveiled if you just kind of go from big node to big node to big node, and then just effectively track around. It's like this whole strategy in general is about investing into, I don't want to say don't think about time, but you're investing into the maps, and the more kind of carefully you curate. Like if you're spending 2 winged scarabs, right? You don't want to just be running around there willy-nilly. You want to be like making sure you get the most bang for your buck. So if you take an extra minute to like carefully map out your Wildwood as far as you're walking through it, it will pay dividends when you end up leaving there with 8K wisps. You're going to be like raining loot. So just got to be smart about it.
Just gotta be smart.
Be smart.
Just be smart, forehead.
Be smart.
Don't be Lighty.
Don't be me. What else we got? How do you find the rare vendor in the mists? Ask Legi. He's the expert.
It's completely random.
Yeah.
Well, when you get close to him, like within like melee range, then you will see the name show up. Like there's going to be text, the nameless seer, and then you can't miss it. But if you don't actually walk over him closely, you will probably miss him unless you actually
a naked
look at your
dude
screen.
sitting on a fucking jar. Like he's just
he looks
there.
a bit like a pine cone.
Yeah. Little pine cone boy. What else? What else we got? What else we got? Any more questions? We good? We're free? Last chance. Last chance for questions.
How do you deal with the FOMO for this league? You feel obligated to run the Magic Find shit, but it burns you out way quicker.
You're not obligated to run it. You choose to run
Yeah.
it. You choose to play the game. You don't.
If you don't like it, don't run it. Yeah. I mean, we're running it because it's fun as
It's
hell.
a fucking
I love
game,
the Magic
man.
Find
If
stuff.
you're not having fun, stop playing. Full stop. Like at any point in time, if you're not enjoying yourself playing any video game, that is not a healthy use of your time. Like,
Pretty much. I mean, for example, me, I kind of didn't feel like magic finding at all until like now, honestly. Like I kind of felt a bit of FOMO because like I want to get stuff I want, but like I've just done other things that are kind of fun. And it's if I feel like magic finding, I'll magic find.
it's not
So,
going
like-
anywhere. You got months. Like,
Yeah, you have still 2 months.
yeah.
Not 3 months, 2 months, because it's
Yeah.
gonna be a 3-month league.
Yep. Good league confirmed. 3
I'm
month
gonna
league.
rip my dick off if they actually are on time for this league.
You
Same.
stream it.
Clean off. I'll put it on Facebook Live.
Do it for the gram.
I'll say this is for you, Chris. No, rip. Like I'm starting a lawnmower, you know.
Jesus.
T7. Risk of ripping that. If you're MF juicing and you're dying at all, just drop tier. Like drop tier, remove MF gear, make yourself tankier. Like you can't MF if you're dying. Full stop.
Yeah, you want to
If
find
you
the
can't
sweet
clear,
spot.
Yeah, if you can't clear the content, you're juicing too hard, basically. Like
But if it's like if you're running through too easily, then you might as well try to add some items back, right? You want to
go
find the
go up
balance.
tier, you know. Like if he's doing tier 7s, you're dying. Just do tier 1s, unless you're like. I mean, obviously you want to get Mage Blood or Headhunter, sure, but you're talking about getting Taste of Hate and Defiance of Destiny. Those could both drop in tier 1s, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So the breakpoints for MFing are like there are a couple of breakpoints this league. Like if you didn't realize, there's the breakpoint of Headhunter Mage Blood and like a couple. I guess Void Battery. I guess Headhunter Mage Blood. Let's say those two. It's level 75, right? So that's tier 7 up. The second
Tier 6
breakpoint is
technically.
T6 technically, but like you want to T7. Let's say T7.
Yeah.
Next breakpoint is red maps T11. Then you can start dropping Valda boxes there, but cannot drop sextants. And then the last breakpoint is 14, right? Which is altars and sextants, right? So if you don't really care that much about Headhunter or like you're struggling, just I don't know, do tier 1 maps. It doesn't matter, man. It's fine.
Especially if
gonna
you're
be
trying
almost
to
the same
get,
loot.
like, if he's trying to farm Defiance and Taste of Fate, I guarantee those items, when added to your build, will allow you to go to the next tier. Like, those are
Yes.
2 very powerful uniques that, when added to a build, will mitigate large chunks of the dying. So, there's no shame. Like, if you just want to sit in tier 1 maps and you're having time of your life, ball out. Like, you'll probably still make 10 divines per hour in trade just blasting maps. And MF gear is not required for any part of this. I'm not using any MF gear. If you could add it, fantastic. You know, even if it's just a Ventor here and there, a Bisco's belt, you know, whatever you can comfortably add. But don't add MF gear and don't juice harder at the risk, like, if you're dying. Like, 1 death a day is one thing, but like if you're dying every map, pull back. Like, that's too much.
Like
Is this
people
an
think of
intervention?
MF as huge investment, right? Because it's been in most leagues in the past where it's only really profitable if you have like all the MF gear because the cost of entry is so high. But this league, the cost of entry is almost nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe an Abyss Scarab, because that one is just kind of broken. We probably want to use the Gilded Abyss Scarab, but you could even do it without any Scarabs. and get
you
a
get
lot of more
self-sustained
uniques than
scarabs
anything
anyway.
else.
Yeah. Yeah, once you build up a
So
decent
it's
stockpile
very
of
cheap.
resources, then you could start to get more aggressive with your investment. But in the beginning, you could just literally like chisel Alk Val tier 1 maps, like, you know, and then just have like the same MF tree everyone's using for Abyss. You'll still spawn 1 to 2 Abyss, etc., right? And you'll get those big hits every now and again where it's like you could talk some like a rusted reliquary scarab, like even that, you know, if you get a 4-mod rare that has triple empowered and it has a ghost and it has beyond, it's still going to drop like 100 uniques, like even if there's low investment. Like it's the juice is doing all the heavy lifting. Your only job is to stay alive and kill things. So prioritize staying alive and killing things. Do you think Penance Brand is good MF character? I have Mage Blood and SSF. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah. You could Mage Blood Penance Brand and you'll be doing good.
I mean, both me and Manni. I mean, Manni did it first, and I copied him. We both MF'd on a Penance Brand Inquisitor, and it was fine. I found like in my first day, I found 5 uniques. So
yeah, I did. I was doing the same thing on Penance Brand. I just ended up just swapping to Mamba because Pathfinder's a little tankier, but like Inquisitor's good. Like you're fine. Build's good. Single target's the most important thing. Like the magic mobs can be tanky with empowerment, sure, but like the white mobs and like the non-empowered stuff, they'll just kind of die from like your Penance Brand's secondary AoE, right? The only thing you have to worry about is just killing the juiced Abyss mobs and like beyond and that sort of stuff. So if you could like just having a build that's mostly single target related for doing MFing is totally fine. It's like this is kind of in opposition, as we're saying, of like traditional MFing, where you're like plowing through packs of mobs fast and like that sort of thing. This is all about just like, you know, you're killing these chunky rares that drop their like loot pinatas. So it's a different application of magic finding.
I did not realize that the Valdo boxes were T11s, but that makes a lot more sense.
They're definitely red maps, yeah. I don't know if they're 11s versus 14s. I haven't had experience with them. I have never dropped one, but I've only been in tier 9s. That's why it's like I didn't drop I didn't drop one when I was just doing regular mapping.
They drop as often as keys do in T14 plus.
Are we saying Legi?
Oh, 11's already, I think.
Yeah, 11s are the breakpoint. Like I heard multiple people like tell me that.
Checks out.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good place to stop.
Yes.
I guess what else? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Everyone go home. No, it's
No.
League's good, feel good. Fun
Awesome
times.
league, yeah.
Gonna keep playing. Do another one of these in like a month, I guess. If we're all still alive. See how we're feeling at the end of many of yours. I mean, I'm not sure how much you guys are playing. I know you guys don't always stick with the entire league. But we'll see. We'll see in a month how you're feeling.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe we'll do some sort of private league hardcore ruthless thing. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
Sign me up.
It's confirmed. Hardcore
boy.
Ruthless with Lighty next month.
Yep.
I will watch.
Log in.
Log in.
Yep.
We could do some sort of like fun challenge or something. You know. For like charity, or we'll just give the money to Easy so we can buy a camera.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what we all need.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah, you know, the therapy for terminal shot addiction.
Yeah.
But that's probably expensive.
Yeah. All right.
There was a melee Ruthless to fix it.
Oh no. I made one ruthless character. Someone said it was so hard to play ruthless, so I made one character in hardcore and just got to maps, and then I just said fuck you and I deleted him, and that was it. I played Spectral Shield Throw and I had 0 supports, and it was totally fine. But yeah. Okay, we're done. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
All right.
Lighty,
what?
one thing.
Oh,
Fix your description of my shit. Like remove my Twitter and just from there because it's outdated.
okay.
If you can do that, just remove Twitter.
I can do that. I
Probably
can and I
remove this
will.
Are you
one
not
as well.
Twittering anymore?
And now I just changed the handle and like it's linking to some garbage.
That's good.
It's annoying me.
I will change it.
Just remove it and just remove both.
I'll remove you.
both Discord. Yeah, just remove me, please.
I'll remove you. Okay, I'm hanging up. Have fun. Goodbye, boys.
Yeah, going as well. Bye.
Mwah.
See ya. Have a good night.
Kisses.
See you guys.